That's how we're gonna know. Aha! It says it's live.
Oh, okay. Let's check it. It's on Facebook?
So I'm not sure if we're live. No, it should be on YouTube.
Oh.
Hey guys, I think we're live.
Let's see. This is gonna be so
we're gonna find
weird.
out. So if people didn't see the chat earlier, the internet has gone out at my house. So,
we are live.
So we're now using instead of a proper camera, we're using the laptop with my phone as a hotspot. So yeah, that should be fantastic. So, and there's fire trucks that keep going by. So I think something's going on, but I don't really know. And anyways, we're here. So I think, let's see, you need to check the chat. That was an ambulance.
Yikes.
So let's see. Oh, no, that's a new live event. So can you look at it and see if there's anybody joining us? Can you guys tell us if you can hear us and stuff?
42 people watching.
Okay. Is anybody saying anything? Where's the chat? Is there a chat there? Oh, crap. Okay, hold on, guys. Sorry. I will make this work because that's just how I am.
We're so professional.
Oh, yeah, we got this down. We got it. All right. Go here. Okay, click on there. Okay.
We're so professional.
Oh, yeah. We got it. Okay, good. Oh, did it just stop? Got this down. We got it. I'm in limited bandwidth here, so we'll see how this works. Okay, click on there. Okay, here we go. Yes. All right. Entertain them for a second. We got it. Okay, good. Oh, did it just stop? Got this down. We got it.
Nice. This is me.
Here, so we'll see.
Hey, gang.
Okay, click on there. Okay, here we go. Yes. All right. Entertain them for a second. We got it. Okay, good.
I'm so lost without Daniel. I'm not lost. This is me. So lost without Daniel. Oh, I don't know the rest of it. I'm so lost without Daniel.
Sorry about that, guys. We will figure this out. All right, how are we going to do this so we can actually see the comments?
Oh, is
here?
this it?
Yeah, this is it. This is the chat. There I am. Hey, guys. Sorry, we're reading the chat now. We're just getting here. Sorry. He's off getting coffee. Yeah, I am going to. I didn't actually hit the Keurig yet, so. 11 degrees here, 51 degrees, coffee good. It's about here, cloudy. Sorry, I'm a slow reader. This is the most interesting thing on the internet is watching us read. Okay, so are you trying to broadcast from? Okay. All right, guys. Give me 1 second to get the coffee. I will be right back. Hair is looking good, Marissa. She does have good hair now. It's
really? Okay, it's so humid here. Thank you. Yeah, where is the puppet, Daniel? I haven't seen that guy in a while. Slow readers. Oh, true. True. Okay, has anybody seen American Vandal? That show's really good. I just watched it. I just finished it on the train up here. I'm actually in a show hole now. If anybody has any recommendations. I don't know why Daniel's getting coffee now. Now that the live stream is live, just leaving me here to entertain the masses. Yeah. Now you get to see how awkward I am in real life. That's the thing is I feel like I like Instagram and like me modeling for Daniel's all a lie. Like I look too cool sometimes. Marissa, is red your favorite color? American Gods. Okay. I like red. I like all colors. I would have to say probably, yeah, I think orange is probably my favorite color. This is totally about photography. All right. Okay, got my coffee, heard sirens. I know Marissa is hot, but I mean, Daniel, you need to get back here. I'm not very good at entertaining people. They're getting mad. Coffee time. Awkward as love, Marissa.
What do you mean?
Daniel, I'm flopping out here. I'm dying.
God, is she killing it? All right, hold on. All right, guys. So we wanted to.
Does Daniel make you make his coffee? No, he just went.
No, I went to make coffee. All right, sorry, guys. Listen, we got to, it's been problematic. Let's just say that, to say the least. We had a the internet went out, like I said. So we're using a laptop here to do this. So we want to talk, because I get a lot of questions about this, like kind of, photographers working with models and consistently working with models. I think that's really the thing, right? Because yeah, you often, as a photographer and probably as a model, right, you work with a lot of people. But then there's some people you work with a lot. So we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that, kind of the ins and outs of that, and like advantages, I guess, disadvantages. What's kind of what you get from it, because it's certainly the idea of, if you're, let's say, building a photography portfolio, I'll speak from the photographer's point of view. You don't necessarily want to have just one model in your whole portfolio, right? I mean, so variety is definitely key. But there's a certain level of comfort that people get when they work together enough that often allows you to get to the next level. So there's kind of this good mix, I think, of working with the same person and then also bringing new people in, right? So yeah, that's all I got to say. This is why it doesn't normally talk.
I actually, well, fun fact, Daniel Norton is actually the first photographer that I ever modeled for. I'm an actor, and when I first moved to New York, I really needed new headshots. So I actually finessed Daniel and told him that I was a model. And I was like, I'll model for you for free if you give me headshots. And he was like, great, model working for free. But secretly I was totally not a model. But yeah. But anyway, so I was looking back at those first photos that I took with Daniel the other day. And they're so awkward. A, because I wasn't a model, but B, because I didn't really know Daniel that well. I feel like the more we shoot together, the better photos we take, because I just know him better and I'm more comfortable around him.
So interesting.
That's it. Yeah. No, if you look back at those first photos, they're
I'm pretty sure every photo of you is awkward.
I mean, that's a fair point, but slightly less awkward though.
Yeah, she's got an awkward look to her.
You want to talk, dude.
I'm not a model, nor do I ever claim to be. Yeah, I know. I think, and this is actually an interesting subject too, in and of itself, is that the idea of this happens a lot in the photo industry where, no, I haven't cut my hair. When you,
no, I cut my hair.
When you're trying to build your portfolio, you're trying to get new shots. A way to do it. I mean, obviously you can pay people. And that is good. I mean, and there's times you want to do that. I mean, you're probably not models watching this, or maybe you are, so maybe you care about this. I used to have people come to me all the time when I ran my studio, and they would be like, oh, I heard that you shoot for, Next and Elite and Ford and all the modeling agencies. And they'd be like, can you shoot my portfolio? And I would always say to them, go get signed by them first. Because every agency has their own style. And if I shoot you in a certain style and it's not appropriate, they're going to make you get new pictures.
It's true.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're actually looking to be a fashion model, you don't need to have a paid portfolio until you get with an agency. You want to get with the agency first, then they'll use, they'll tell you what style they want. Actually,
I just signed with a new agent. Oh yeah, this is where having a photographer that you shoot with who's really good regularly becomes really handy. My agent just told me that I need all these new photos, so guess who I'm gonna be hitting up to take those?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not if it's Tyra Banks, it's not bad. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that it's not necessarily bad, but I do think that if you're trying to show your work as a photographer, you want, I think, to show variety. Because people want to, this is especially true for headshot photographers. If you ever look at a headshot photographer's website, they've got one of every flavor. Literally, they want to show that they can shoot every age group, every skin color, every, sex, I guess, because people want to look at it and say, oh, you've shot a 34-year-old woman with, brown hair, so you can shoot me. Because people that aren't models don't understand that photographers should be able to work just on anybody. So, having variety can be really useful depending on the kind of work you do. That's what I would say there. Oh my God, your internet is laggy. So is mine. It could actually be me. I don't know how well you guys can see us.
We're in the woods. Daniel lives in the woods, if you guys didn't know.
I do live in the woods a little bit. You can do a 60s look. Yeah, you could do a 60s look.
Should do 16.
Yeah, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff. We have some more Adorama videos we need to shoot next month, so you'll see some of those.
Yeah.
How
many other models? So I have shot with like quite a few photographers. Yeah. I think the reason that Daniel is my favorite photographer is because we're like the same brand of goofball, you know? So it just works really well. Yeah, we have a good time.
And I think that's important. You know, you got to be able to vibe with people, and that's what you'll find. Like all through. I mean, I've been doing it a little bit longer than Marisa.
Just a little bit.
But there's, you know, always been, if I think back, even when I first started, there's always been like models that I lean towards more often for shoots. You tend to click with them in a certain way, and then they're the ones that also trust you too. So when you want to try something, they're like, oh yeah, let's try it. Because even if we get shitty shots, at least we had a good time because we know it's fun hanging out. Mm-hmm. You know, if somebody you don't really like working with, I mean, I've shot many a very beautiful model that I would not bring in for a free test ever because they're not fun to work with, you know, and I just don't want to deal with them. It's like, there's only so much, you know, there's a lot of pretty girls out there.
True.
Oh, well, a lot of questions coming in. Holland, hey. Hey guys. Oh, thanks.
How do you find the happy medium of being friends with models and do work for them TFP? Well, I can answer that from my perspective.
Yeah, go for it.
So, I usually don't shoot for free, but like I think it's good to have like one or two or like maybe like a couple really good photographers that you'll shoot with for free, or maybe models. Just because like if you have like a brilliant idea that you want to shoot for fun, or like if you need to update your portfolio, you know, it's good to have like that good like couple go-to people. I feel like.
No, I agree. I think that, and I used to when photo forums were a thing. I don't know if they still are. I don't think photo forums are a thing anymore, are they? I would always get on there, you know, and people would be spouting. People who, you know, no offense to people that aren't like that are in the middle of the country that aren't in major markets, but about how this and this works. And I'd say, listen, you take like a major photographer that's working all the time. They still do test shoots. They just do them with the models that are at their level. You know, mm-hmm. your major photographers out there are still shooting for themselves, and their connections are the models that they work with on campaigns and stuff. So that's where you're at. So yeah, if somebody is a really established photographer and you're a brand new model, they might not shoot you for free. If you really want to work with them, you'll pay for it, and vice versa. If you're not so established and there's somebody that's booking all the time, you know, they might not work with you for free because mm-hmm. it's not to their benefit that they can see, at least in that moment. I mean, we all like to think that we're so awesome that everybody wants to work with us, but the reality is there's only so many hours in the day, right? So you want to work with the people that are, you know, are going to get you something, and that something might be good pictures. It might be connections.
True.
Right? If I bring a model in on a job, sometimes that job, they meet makeup artists or art directors or clients for future things, and then that's valuable to them, even if it's only a few bucks or whatever, you know.
Yeah, connections. And also I feel like it would just, if I only did things that were paid, I would probably lose my passion for it, you know, because like sometimes you gotta do stuff for you.
Yeah, I agree.
They think you live in Manhattan. No, I had to take the train, Metro North.
Yeah.
An hour.
You can hear the crickets. Yeah, no, I don't live in Manhattan. I used to live in Queens. My studio is in Manhattan. So I'm not faking that when you see that. When we go around the balcony, that's not like a green screen out there. Like listen, where your studio is more important than where you live. That's the reality.
True.
Actually, when I first moved to New York, I was living in Queens. I just told you I had the most amazing apartment in Queens, and no agencies would send girls out there. Nope. They were like, no, you know, because back then there was no Uber, which now you're only talking like 6 or 7 years. I mean, this is not that long that Uber's been around. You know, there was no Uber, and 6 or 7 years is a long time for you, but not for me. You know, if you take this, you know, 14-year-old girl and you send her out to the boroughs, she gets lost. Like, that's dangerous. So I actually right away established a studio in Manhattan, and I have had a studio in Manhattan since 2003. Three different studios, but this one I've had for a while. Yeah. There are woods in Manhattan. In Central Park, there is, yeah. 2 miles. Yep, that's true. That's true. Oh, Hold on, did a bunch of stuff just pop in, or did I go back to the top? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Sorry, guys, you may be on a bit of a delay here because this weird internet things. Mind readers, okay. Central Park. You live in Central Park, yeah, that's right. What do I do because I can't find malls? Well, what I would tell you about that is, and I mean, I joke about this a lot, but it's actually the truth. You need to, if you can't find models as beautiful as Marisa, you have to figure out why each person in front of you is beautiful in their own way. And that is actually a much more rewarding thing than just shooting somebody that's typically attractive. I mean, yeah, you're boring.
Well, I also feel like I don't have a specifically modelly look, but
not at all.
Actually, Daniel was like, the first time I met him was so mean. He was like, Marisa, I'm sorry, but you'll never do fashion just because your face is so round. I was like,
yeah. Well, she's not. She's more, she's like a pretty girl, which is fine. I mean, everybody has their type, and if you can learn to work with different types of people and you know, accelerate that, yeah, I think so.
But I feel like also, I mean, for me, I think modeling is more than just like sitting there. Like, I think there's like a lot that goes into it.
Okay.
Like from that, and I also
good direction.
My favorite photos that I like to see of other people are always like, they're not necessarily because they look beautiful. It's like, it's a lot about, I think like working with an actor is a good thing. Like you notice a lot of models who are also actors give really interesting expressions, and like you can make a really cool moody portrait. So I think like look for interesting people.
Yeah, I agree. I think that interesting is more important than pretty. I mean, really, I mean, I get there is this certain level. Like if you want to be whatever, a fashion photographer, or you want to shoot swimsuits or whatever it is, you need to shoot a certain type of model. There's no question. But if you don't have that, shoot what you can, learn your craft, and make great shots. You may find that you actually like doing that better. I mean, I love, for instance, when I lived in Miami, little known fact, Daniel, I was like a major men's shooter. Like I shot men for like a year. That's all I shot. Why? Because it's paid. Because every dude that flies to Miami wants to shoot hot chicks on the beach. So nobody was paying photographers to shoot girls. Because why would you? There's like 1,000 photographers. And even if 900 of them suck, you're still getting good free pictures. So dudes are like, we need pictures too. Nobody wants to shoot the guys. So I was like, I'll shoot guys. And I did. And I really came to really like photographing men. And I actually enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. Let's see. How many other models do we get that? Sorry, guys, this chat is where were we? Okay. 6 foot tall mannequin. You know, Seth loves working with the mannequins. So I'm surprised Seth's not here.
Yeah, Seth has like
Seth's not
hundreds of photos of
Yeah, he loves that mannequin. You can work with the mannequin. It's good for working with lighting, but I will say this. I feel like I say this a lot. Maybe I don't ever say it. If you're going to be a people photographer, you got to be a people person. So it's more important for you to be good with people than it is for you to be able to light. And I know that seems weird coming from me, but you'll figure that out. You can just put them in a big flat soft light that's going to be good for anybody. You know, if you can't make people feel comfortable and do stuff, you'll fail. Like no matter how nice your lighting is. And
even I have to say, there have been a couple of times when like I've shot with photographers and like technically they were good, like the lighting was good, it looked good. But because they were so, either they were like mean or sometimes creepy or just like kind of like awkward and like uncomfortable to be around, like you can see your model, you know, you see they're uncomfortable or, you know, nervous. Like I think that's a lot. When I was first starting out, you could tell that I was like nervous in a lot of my photos.
Yeah, you got to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, making someone feel like comfortable around you.
And this is true for models, and it's true for portraits, and it's true for anything. I mean, I used to joke that like we're photographers are the second most hated people, dentists being the first. I can't tell you the number of people that walk in the studio and go, I hate getting my picture taken. And I had to make them feel comfortable so that they get the picture, you know, shot. So, you know, that, I don't know what's going on this YouTube, so hopefully it's still working. So that's kind of important. I'm losing it over here, so I don't know. Okay, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, it's true. Okay, so we'll give you a little behind the curtains thing. So the Brian says that Dan doesn't give Marisa a lot of direction in the Adorama shoots. Is that because you space to draw her out, or because she knows what to do? Yes, you kind of know what to do a little bit. And yes, I like to give people space to draw it out. But also when we do a video, I mean, most of the time we actually take the pictures, you know, we take some pictures and make sure it's going to look right. And I explain it to her. Yeah, I say, this video is about using these lights over here. So she knows that the video is about those lights. So she's a good model is going to work towards the stuff that you tell them. And which draws me to something else. And I tell people this is actually kind of funny. I think the reason why I got into or felt so comfortable doing these tutorial videos was because when I first started, especially in fashion, I shot a lot of new models, model development. That was everything I did. And when you do that, you have to explain everything to them. That's the right way to do it anyways. You want to tell them, hey, I'm turning you this way because this is the reason. Your face is shaped like this. So that's why I say, like we would say to people, their faces run, because that's what I used to do. Your nose is a little bit long. You want to make it look a little bit better, go like this. You know, this is basically what I would do. So I just got used to saying that and telling people. And at first, you might think when you start picking out faults in people, it might make them uncomfortable, but in fact, it doesn't. You know, it's all how to do it. You know, you don't just go, you're a big fat ass, so turn this way. You know, you got to be like, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is the reason why. When you start staring at somebody, especially when you do the click, that makes them uncomfortable.
I know. I'm always like, what is it?
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing wrong? Like, you don't want to do that. You want to have a conversation, even though they have no idea what an f-stop is, whatever. You're still talking to them, so they know something's going on. So I think that's part of it. But yeah, I always give people space. I often find that this is the funniest thing. I used to find this all the time. The best shots are almost always after I've taken like a minute to like change something, and I look and the model is just standing there. Because how people normally stand is the beginning of a great pose. Like with the people that like look at these magazines and try to copy these really intricate poses, those that usually look so awkward. And the reason for that is because that person is not you. Their body is different than yours. What you have to do is feel how your body feels comfortable, and then you have to then the photographer can adjust you slightly. You know, move your shoulders that way, turn this way. But basically, that's where you're going to look, in my opinion. That's why I generally put people. Like I find the young people, like I used to show like kids too. Tweens are like the best. They do the best posing because they don't care. They're just like standing there doing weird shit. And if you look at fashion magazines and then watch, like, you know, if you have kids or whatever, don't watch strange kids that like to creep it. You'll see that they actually do a lot of the same poses. Like it's these like weird like bending the leg back. You can't see what I'm doing, but you know, this kind of like awkward. Like this is exactly what these kids do. You know, it's just they just do it naturally without thinking of it. Yeah, it's weird, but that's it. Yeah. I used to shoot a lot of tweens. That was another thing I did, which was really fun. That's why I know a lot about Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. You're probably too young for that.
Did you shoot them?
No, I didn't. But I used to watch their show. They had a show that was it was so hilarious. I'm like this 20-some-odd-year-old man watching the show. They were basically, they might have been in like junior high or high school or whatever. But I swear to God, every scene in the show, they were in a different outfit. It was the most amazing show for fashion. Like it's like, hold on, you were just in a class, now you're in the hallway, you're in a different outfit. What's going on here?
That's a lot of shows. Like I just finished watching Pretty Little Liars, and like they would just throw in like random like costume party or like homecoming or like just so they could like dress up. I feel like every episode.
And in real life, we do as much as we can to not dress up.
I know, I'm such a schlum.
Let's see. Do you do a lot with each other? Do we do a lot of shoots? TFP? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With each other. Yeah.
I don't shoot a lot of models. Well, okay. So it all comes down to what you're doing. I bring people in sometimes, and if somebody approaches me and says, I need this, and I think they'd be good for a video, I'll do a trade like that. Because it's not really the same because I need the video. I got to pay a model anyway. So yeah, but I don't really, I'm not really portfolio building. I mean, anymore.
But, I mean, like Daniel shoots a lot for Autorama, so Autorama will pay me, but
yeah, of course.
Like for Daniel's own channel, Daniel's the master, so like shooting with him's awesome. But like B also, you know, Daniel helps me out with like if I need photos sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the thing, right? So it might not be that this is the TFP where we're both getting the same like equal share, because it might be something I really want to do for myself, and maybe you won't even use those pictures, but then you might need something that I don't really need, and we'll do that because we have that relationship. And I think that's what's good about having this, getting back to the thing, having like regular models.
Yeah, and it's good to have like exactly.
Yeah, because I think that's important. But I think a lot of times, if normally my rule is that if there's money, if I'm being paid, everybody gets paid. That's pretty much my flat out. Like if a client's paying me, they're paying it, or I'm taking some money to pay them. I don't make people work for free. This used to happen to me all the time. People would always come to me and say, I will assist you free. And I will say, no, if I'm doing a job, first of all, anybody that shows up for free, I don't trust. What? Like, why am I letting you? But also, if I'm getting paid, you're getting paid. It's a job. You know?
He's really, really good about that. Too.
Yeah, I yell at you, don't chase them with money.
I know.
It's tricky being a freelancer. Do you guys think a cuter model makes a picture better? You will. Okay, I'll say this. I think you'll get more likes on Instagram with the cuter model for sure. I mean, that's just the way it is. People like to look at pretty girls. Does it make a picture better? Probably not.
Have you noticed Marisa putting on airs since becoming the 2018 pun-off champion? I don't know, Daniel.
I don't know. You hardly ever pun around me. She's holding him in. She's holding back. That's
because in high school, like I was bullied for my puns. People like hated them.
Are you paid for the webcast like what we're doing right now? No, I did not pay her. Although I did give her
salsa,
salt, and chips to go
and milk.
And milk.
So
and a train ticket.
And a train ticket.
Yeah. So you get she got paid. What's your advice to work with arrogant models? Don't. I mean, sometimes I guess, okay, so there's this weird thing that's like happened and I don't understand it. So it hardly ever happens with me because I try to not allow it, where the client has this like overarching like power to like pick the model. And I guess this happens a lot when it's celebrities. So I suppose that's probably the reason. Oh my God, the phone company's outside. This is the best time to ever do this. So if I'm doing a job, like it's a catalog or it's whatever, any job I do a casting. And if somebody is a jerk to me when I'm casting them, then I just don't use them. In fact, I'll give you a story. I love weird ass stories. So you have to probe me with a question to get a story because I have to remember I'm old. All right. So I'm doing this calendar. Okay, this is how old this is. I'm shooting calendars in Miami. And it's for the university. It's like a charity thing. It's for the university. It's all girls from the university. And there was one girl that was clearly more beautiful than the rest. She had nice curves. She was in good shape. She was busty. Everybody wanted to shoot her. And there was like 5 photographers doing this. And we were basically all at turns. And we had slotted times a day. And I actually had a huge advantage because I lived in Miami and everybody up there was from Tampa or wherever the hell they were from. So like I'm like, oh, it's a calendar. I'm gonna get my connections. I found all these cool places. So on the day that I was supposed to shoot her, it was her and one other girl. I had got a boat. I found this guy, this weird, like, we used to call them pirates. They used to just like park in Miami. If anybody's from Miami, I know about. So I was like, can we shoot on your boat? And he was like, yeah, bring me some beer. So I'm like, beer for a boat? That seems fair, right? So we're driving to this boat, and this really beautiful girl that's like been the snobby girl the whole day, like everybody wants to shoot her falling on her feet. She says to me, oh, as soon as you're done with my shoots, you have to bring me back before you shoot her because I want to leave early. I literally stopped the car. I was like 3 blocks from the hotel. I said, get out. You can leave now. My assistant almost shit himself. He's like, I'm like, I'm not dealing with you. I'm like, go back. I won't shoot you. And you won't shoot on a fucking boat. You've been on the beach all week shooting plain backdrops on the fucking beach with everybody. I'm giving you a fucking boat and you're going to give me a hard time because you're pretty?
She missed out.
And yeah, I kicked her out and off she went. And the other girl got double the amount of shots on an awesome boat. So there you go. That's how I deal with arrogant models. That's my occasional, yeah, sometimes I do that. I'm usually nice though, usually.
Man, she missed out.
She did miss out, and actually she was quite beautiful, so I was a little sad. But at the same time, I don't put up that shit because I just knew it'd be a problem, and it wasn't fair to the other girl, you know.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is like if she's super arrogant and like, I don't know, I feel like how.
So you used to think Marisa? Did you think Marisa worked for Adorama because of the short-lived Snapchat show?
The one Snapchat show, which is literally just me going around like, where's Gavin Hoey?
Oh my God. Oh, I wish we had that still. Oh God. That was so good. See, that's the kind of stuff that we do. Oh, okay. I lost where we were. Sorry. Communication. Yes, I agree. Do I let a model lead during the shoot? Yes. Sure. Unless they're going the wrong way. Is there a difference shooting with Daniel versus always angry like sad?
Oh my Are you okay?
If you want me to die here in a live stream. Poor Seth.
Oh. Seth's just very passionate.
There you go. Yeah, you've shot with Seth a couple times.
Yeah, that made me an alien, and actually that was super cool.
That was super cool. And you're on a shirt.
I am on a shirt, and I think some leggings.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's a little creepy, but cool.
If you want my face on your butt, there's one.
Yeah, if you do want Marissa's face on your butt, go ahead and check out Seth's thing. I'm going to get off my sword because it's getting warm out here, right? The temperature rose significantly. I did that.
Oh, is this a touchscreen?
No, it's not a touchscreen.
Oops.
No, it's not a touchscreen, Marissa. This is what I have to deal with. All right, sorry, guys. Let's see, where were we? I'm from the UK. Hey, I think I went back too far. Putting on airs, blah blah blah. Great to see you too. Yeah, this is true. I mean, working with inexperienced models can be tricky, but what I find is, I used to. I mean, I had like a passion for it. I loved shooting new models. It was like it was one of my favorite things to do. I think that the trick to it, to me, is kind of, I'm just going to repeat myself like I said earlier a bit. You've got to explain to them why you're doing things. Mm-hmm. Not turn your body this way, turn your body that way. Good, click. More, turn your body this way because you'll look thinner. Turn your arm looks awkward there. Move it back. Okay, now it looks good. Turn your face towards the light so you don't have so much shadow. Now they understand when my face is towards the light, there's no shadow. So this is now they're learning. So then they learn how to pose. If you just tell them to turn their head to the right, they don't know why you're telling them that. They can't see through the camera. And what I definitely recommend you don't do, and I don't know how you feel about this, so we'll find out it's controversial right now because sometimes I get models that want to do this. I absolutely never let somebody have like a mirror or something to look at. I think it's the worst thing.
I agree.
Oh my God, it's the worst because the mirror is not the Irish for once. Fucking camera. So even if you look good in the mirror, you're not necessarily looking good in the camera. Stop looking in the fucking mirror.
Also, when you're like I guess you have to like in the back of your mind be thinking about posing and like what angles are good and everything. But I really feel like the best photos are where you're just kind of like letting it happen, you know? Which is another reason why it's good that I'm so comfortable with Daniel, because I know if there's a terrible photo, he'll never let that see the light of day. So I'll
send it to her though.
Yeah, he will. He will. But so I'm much more like comfortable just kind of letting it happen. And that's are where you get the best.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, I think that when you're overly thinking the pose, it tends to look posed, which isn't necessarily great. Oh, Seth is writing us right now. Next year. Oh no, hold on. Where are you, Seth? Hold on.
Did you hear that comment about
no.
me perpetually angry?
You're lucky Seth isn't in here. I'm going to text him right now, actually. I'm texting. Yeah, but I think that's true. So you got to be comfortable. You got to be with it. You also have to trust the photographer. I think that's important, right? I guess if you're working with somebody, and I know this is really hard. It's easy for me to just say it, but it's sometimes really hard in practice. If you don't trust somebody, you shouldn't work with them. Like even if there's no photographers out there or no models that want to work with you, and one model says she'll work with you, but she wants to bring her boyfriend or have her mother watch or text every 3 minutes because they think you're going to kill them, don't work with that person. Why? Because they're never going to be comfortable because they fucking think you're a murderer for some reason.
What if you're the first shoot though? Like what if they want to bring someone for the first shoot?
I never allow that.
Really? Never?
No, but I also am in a different spot because number one, I have a studio in Manhattan that I've had
well-known
for years.
Yeah,
like, I say, why would I have spent this whole career so I could build up to kill you? Like, I get that, like, you're important to your mom, but honestly, like, you're not worth it to me. Okay, what would I do in that situation? If somebody feels like I would certainly meet them first. I would shoot them in public if they prefer that, like a park or something. But I do not like when people come. Or I would say you could bring a makeup artist, or I would have an assistant, somebody else on the set, so we're not alone if somehow that's an issue. And I would really only ever do that if somebody was paying me and I really need the money. Because honestly, if you don't trust me, don't fucking use me. Because that's just my opinion. I can't. They will not be comfortable. You're not going to be comfortable if you think I'm an axe murderer. for some reason. I mean, I get that I have the beard and I live in the country, but you know, I'm not. I mean, more machete.
I do understand from the model's perspective wanting to shoot in public or wanting to meet them first. I mean, I've never brought somebody to a shoot.
Meeting, I think, is fine.
But yeah, I mean, usually the first time I shoot with someone will either be in public or I'll meet them first. Just because, like, there are, like, Daniel's a good guy, but
All right, I think we're live still. It's hard to say if we're live, so hopefully we are, guys.
oh, but to go back to not bringing someone with you to the shoot, I do understand that. Like, I think that if you're not going to trust somebody, but I would say if you are concerned as a model, like shooting with someone for the first time who's new, you know, meeting them beforehand, either for for coffee, shooting in a public space, or reaching out to people that they've shot with are usually pretty good ways to go. That's if you're like really somebody like.
Yeah, I would. I guess in some level, I mean, I probably am slanted to view because, again, I major modeling agencies, you know, and I'm shooting like these girls, you know, they're 14 years old or whatever from Elite, and they don't have a problem sending them to my studio because I'm a respected photographer. And then some random person wants to be, you know, is like, oh, but my boyfriend needs to watch. It's like, you know, kind of where I'm coming from. I mean, hopefully it didn't come up like too much of a douche. Probably did. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's funny because this comment, you do TFP with agencies, but not necessarily people who just approach you. I can see that because usually if somebody's approaching you, then you have something they want. But I leave myself, but I also need people for things. So, in fact, I'm on them because it's like an panoramic thing, you know. And if somebody comes to me and they're like, "Do you want a thing?" I'll just say, "Well, maybe I can use you for this," and then that's a way I can test them, you know. If they're
yeah. I would say I feel good and like I have an agent, but like.
You, right? So
no, actually, I'm.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Sprint is also getting this. Sorry, guys. Hope this. Let me try to go through some of these questions quicker. Just I kind of want to kill watching this, but I can't. Blah blah. Actually, can you look at these questions and see where we're at? I'm gonna try to see if I can watch it over here.
Where do models hang out? I would say a lot of models and photographers connect on like Instagram, Model Mayhem sometimes, but that I've heard is kind of sketchy. You can reach out to agencies. A lot of times you can like just send them their work and like they'll set you up with some models. I think those are some good ways to get models.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to find model, I've actually had tremendous luck finding people. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for actual people that are interested in modeling, I would just go to an agency. Yeah. And start at the bottom if you don't have anything. Because like, and when I say bottom, I mean like the low end agencies. You know, there's always these like smaller agencies that'll, I don't want to say take anyone, but they, you know, they definitely are less selective, you know, and they've got people that want to model. So, you know, they'll use you. And then once you have a bit of a stronger portfolio, you move to the next level agency and you kind of work your way up until you can pull the better. Yeah. Yeah.
Or even Instagram sometimes.
Yeah, Instagram's great.
I mean, I found that's how I kind of started. I found Daniel actually on Meetup, I think. I was a very dedicated creeper model.
Yeah, you were definitely creeping.
I found Daniel actually on Meetup, I think.
Oh, you definitely sound
very dedicated creeper model. Cuties.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to super choppy. Okay, these are recent. Okay, so I guess I'm watching on my phone now. Wait something you need. Okay, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna. Oh, talk about creepy. What's creepy? Oh, this is when you guys lost us. Okay, I'm gonna try to do it on my phone so we can kill this one. Let's
okay.
Here. I'm gonna kill this because we're using the her connection to get both of these.
Oh, do you ever let? Okay.
Go ahead. You can answer it.
Should we still look at those questions? Or?
They're here.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna roll back like I don't know what time it is. So. When you tether, how often do you shoot? How often do you show your models the photos? Oh, interesting. Okay, that's a good question. I'll answer that while you look through to find the one right there. So when I tether, how often do I show the models the photos? So I work, and I guess I have always worked this way because I started before there was digital. I generally show the models pictures until we get started, and then I show them at the end. So like I'll shoot as I'm figuring out the lighting. And then once I have like one or two that I think are good technically, I'll then show them to the model and say, this is what we're going for. I like this, I like that. And then we'll shoot a series and then we'll stop. And then I'll let them go through it because I also want, it depends on the model, I suppose, but I want them to decide what they like as well. So I don't do it necessarily if it's not working, unless it's something really particular, because I feel like I don't like to show people pictures that aren't good because it's kind of negative. I try to show people good pictures if I can. And there's a lot of bad pictures, obviously, when you shoot.
So there's one. Marisa, have you ever modeled for women photographers?
Oh.
If you have, is their working style a lot different? Yeah, I've modeled for a couple of really great female photographers. I will, like, it is a little bit different. It's a little hard to describe, but I feel like, obviously not Daniel, but a lot of times women photographers are for some reason, I feel like more comfortable around them. Maybe it's because, like, I've never been, like, creeped on by a female photographer.
This makes sense.
And I feel like women photographers that I've shot with have been just really friendly and, like, more, I guess, like, even though their work's incredible, like, more humble, you know? I don't know. That's just my experience. But I've shot with, like, lovely people who are men and women.
That sounds legit. I mean, I think that's actually interesting. And to go back to something I was talking about before, when I used to shoot a lot of guys, because this actually ties in. One of the reasons why the agencies like to use me was because I was not gay.
Oh.
And not because, I mean, a lot of people that work at agencies are gay, so it wasn't that they were bad but they said, you have a different interaction with the male models because you don't see them as like, sexual, whereas like, you know, the gay photographers do like this. So they, I don't mean it like if I'm shooting a model that's female, because I'm a straight guy, I'm not trying to bang them, right? But you definitely see them differently, right? You're looking at them as a sexual being, and that comes into play in your photo. So this is, you know, and not so much when I'm shooting men. So I would shoot them more like dudes as opposed to like these like Adonis, like amazing, which those shots are beautiful. I mean, I love homoerotic stuff, but I don't shoot that way because it's not the, you know, the way that I shoot.
Yeah.
So I can see that with women, because if the woman is not seeing you as a sexual object, then they're perceiving you in a different way. So I can definitely see a different style, for sure.
Absolutely. And I find especially male photographers, I know, I'm trying to like, but male photographers always want like that sexy look, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's some photos I love that have like the sexy look, but I don't usually get that from women. Like I've never, I mean, I guess a few, but women photographers don't usually, their go-to isn't usually like smolder, sexy.
Well, you know what's interesting about that is the best way to get a sexy shot is to not ask for it.
Yeah, because I feel like that would make someone uncomfortable, you know? Like, I know that when, when I was first starting, like, now I'm comfortable and I, like, know what they mean by that. But when I was first starting out and, like, a dude who I've never met was like, all right, like, now look at me like you want to have sex with me. It's like, okay.
Absolutely.
Like, and then it would just be a really uncomfortable face, like, you know? It was like.
But that's actually probably your sexy face.
I mean, it is.
If you see Marisa in a club and she goes, that means.
Come here, baby.
And this is interesting, right? So this is actually pretty good. Wow, it is crazy. This is actually kind of interesting because this comes down to posing on some level, but posing with the face. Instead of telling somebody to look happy or to look sad or to look sexy, think about what makes somebody look like they're sexy, like they're aroused. What is it that they look like when it? And then have them do that. Yeah,
it's like well, as an actor, directors aren't again supposed to say things like be angry, be sad. You know, they describe a situation, and I find with modeling that also helps with my posing.
Yeah.
You know, like imagine that, like for example, like a good direction that a photographer once gave me was like, imagine you're in a room and you like see someone across the room who's really attractive and you want to get their attention. You know. Versus like, now be sexy.
Yeah, because that doesn't ever.
Yeah.
Also, you should almost never tell people to smile. But we all know that. That's like so basic. We're not going to get. Yeah. If you want them to smile, you get a stick with a giant feather on it and tickle. All right. So does Marisa know what I'm talking about when you talk about f-stops and highlights? Do you know what I'm talking about, Marisa?
Yeah, actually, that is something I've learned a surprising amount about photography since modeling for Autorama, because he's teaching, you know.
Yeah, so. It's actually really interesting, and I've met several, and this is funny, they're almost all women. By the way, that's an apple. I have an apple tree, but it's like not apples you can really eat. They're like, I just have apples above my roof, and this time of year they fall off periodically, and it sounds like someone's invading my house. Anyways, several photographers that I know that are female started out doing other things on set, and they are amazing photographers for that reason. They didn't go to photo school. They were just on set and they paid attention. They were models, they were makeup artists, and they just listened, you know.
No, I've learned so much about photography, makeup, fashion in general from modeling.
Marisa works for food. We all work for food when it comes down to it.
It's true.
On a boat. That's old. Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you my other prima donna story another time, but it almost cost me a client. Let's not speak English. Oh, that's interesting. So Harry Harrison saying most of his models don't speak English, which I'm assuming is the language you speak. So you show them pictures. Yeah, that can work. I mean, I used to live in Miami where most people spoke Spanish that came across. There was a lot of South American models. And I learned just a handful of words. Mira, ropa, bonita. You know, that was enough. I like Seth. Patty, Seth likes
I like Seth too.
Yeah. Seth's cool. Yeah, Seth is killing it, actually. This reminds me of Real Players. See, I don't know what that is. Let's go to those. Oh, Real Flow. Because of the low quality. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's actually interesting. So you go to models that bad portfolios. That's actually really interesting. One thing that I do, oh God, I'm going to get wet over here. If it suddenly gets dark, it's because the light gets blown up by the water. Speaking of model portfolios, and just for models out there, most photographers that I know that are like commercial photographers that have been around for a while, when they're looking at just for the worst photo, just so you know, because that's what you really look like. Because you wouldn't have put it there if you didn't think you looked good. So you might have 1,000 photos where you look amazing. That one. So put photos that look like you is what I would say there. Sometimes the moms are better subjects. That's also true. I've shot a few moms in my day. Lost video. Okay, that was a while ago. Sorry guys. Hopefully we're answering old. Yeah, we got crazy stuff going on here. Yeah, I tried to use the Mevo. Let me tell you, we haven't. We're going to bring you the space. Oh, this is all old. We're answering super old questions. Sorry, guys. Talking with themselves. Oh, what's the worst thing to say when approaching? Oh, what's the worst thing to say when approaching someone to model? So, what's the worst thing to say?
I don't know. Generally, anything sexual is super awkward. Like if someone like approaches me with something like sexual in any way, that's usually a no. Because they're only gonna get worse on set. I'd say that's
like, hey, baby.
Yeah, anything. I had one guy message me the other day, negging. Like he said something like, "You're not very attractive, but I can like make you look good." And I'm like, okay, that's like no one to do with you.
Okay, so that's what I get for listening to people in chat. I will not mess with.
Okay, so when approaching someone to model for you that you don't know already, I'd say avoid like sexual, anything sexual. Like no negging, like that guy that was just, I don't know if it cut off, but
what does negging mean for old people?
Negging is like a modern term, I guess, for dating. It's where guys are like insult you, hoping that it'll make you want to like desperately need their validation. But so I had a photographer reach out to me the other day.
Hold on.
Oh,
but that's what we used to do when we were like 8 years old. So that's a new thing. Like telling the girl,
well,
"You're ugly."
There's a word for it now. There's a word.
You're ugly.
There was a photographer who reached out to me the other day who was like, "You're not very attractive, but I will shoot you." Like, I was like, "Okay, rude."
Yeah, right.
And yeah, and he also wasn't gonna pay me, so I was like,
Yeah, that's
okay.
weird. I would say negging in general, not to give you life advice, people, is a bad thing.
Don't do it.
Like, that just seems like a stupid thing to do. In fact, your best bet is to compliment people as much as possible.
Totally, yeah.
In life in
Flatter
general.
me, yeah. Yeah, flatter them. Like, say you love their work, if you do. I mean, if that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I do a lot of cosplay photography. I find it easy to get models into the. Oh, that's true. Yeah, if it's cosplay and they are into the character, that can be really fun. We're actually doing a Saturday. We're gonna be doing a. If you go to Comic-Con in New York on Saturday, we're doing a demo there. So with Seth, we're gonna go up on stage and show you how to shoot cosplay without being a creep.
Come say hi. Oh, and suggest characters for me to be, because
she only has like 4 days. She's not gonna be able to.
Yep.
She's probably just gonna have like her eyes painted or something.
Okay.
I don't even know what superhero that is. Painted eyes for her. It's more comfortable to shoot men. I don't feel pressure to make them beautiful. Interesting. Yeah, guys are generally, even like really good-looking guys are usually a little bit less picky, I guess is the word. I find that most guys are like, they're okay, because I think that the society's more okay with a guy looking bad, you know, than they are with women. I mean, you know, like you can use turbo light. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want to, like, you know, it's okay to show the scruff on their face. Woman's got scruff on her face. You generally don't want to show that. Unless they're like an older model, when you want to show that off. I always tell people to embrace who they are. Because the reality is this: if you're going to be a model or an actor or whoever you are, you want to look the way that you look in your pictures, because when people hire you, if you don't look that way, you're not going to stay around very long. People are going to be like, you don't look that way, go home. You know, I mean, that's what I do. I can tell you many times people have shown up too short, heavier, old pictures. I'm sorry, like, you don't look the way that you're supposed to look in the pictures, so go home. It's not because you're ugly, it's because you don't look the way that I wanted from the picture that you know, did. So I think that you want to stay up to date and you want to be honest to what you look like. If you're just making a portrait of somebody just for fun, you can make them look any way they want, but that picture's not going to be a good modeling picture. In fact, I skip past all the heavily retouched stuff, not because I hate retouching, although I'm not a huge fan of heavy retouching, but I skip past all of it because I don't know what they look like when I see that. So to me, that's not useful at all. And if any commercial stuff, you start looking, really look, get off Instagram, look in magazines, look at billboards, beauty photography and stuff, it's not heavily retouched like that. It's retouched, but not like that.
Especially makeup. Yeah. Like Daniel pointed that out to me, and then I went to Sephora and was noticing everything. Like you could see their pores, you could see like skin flakes. Yeah,
they don't use any of that shit that they try to preach to you that you should use. Okay, so oh, you're from Hungary. Oh, welcome from Hungary. Yeah. But then a lot of men want to be fitness models and no longer fit into the clothes. You mean like they're out of shape? Well, if somebody is out of shape and I mean, I think that part of your job, which kind of you talked about earlier, where I was like, I don't think, I think it's kind of your job if you're an experienced photographer to tell people if they're like, if somebody comes to me, if I showed up in my studio and I was like, I want to be a fitness model, well, first of all, I'd be like, well, take your shirt off, you know, which sounds creepy, but I got to see how muscular they are or whatever, and it's a dude, so he's very fine with it. And if you have the stomach that I have, you're not a fitness model. So I would just say it's not going to work unless you want to do some kind of like, you know, you're going to do a blog, we're going to try to lose weight or whatever. I won't take your money. Like, I can't tell you the number of people that I turned away that would have paid me to shoot a fashion portfolio, and I told them, you are not a fashion model. You're more of a commercial print model. If you want to do those shots, I'll shoot them. Fashion, I'm not going to shoot. It's a waste of your time. Yeah. You know, just, you know, it's just not worth it. Now, I mean, if they say,
I think you can't, like, there is a niche market. Like, if you're really determined, I feel like you can. Like, I feel like size is not so much. I feel like it's more facial than like your body. Don't you think? Because there's so many curvy models now.
That's plus size.
Yeah, but plus size fashion.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
plus size has always been around. Actually, plus size is amazing. It's a great market to be in. In fact, usually the girls are a little bit thinner than they look, and they usually get padding to be bigger, so they can go up and down. Yeah, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is usually it's because they're shorter. Yeah, I would say height is the bigger factor.
Yeah.
But there is this whole thing about like having a fashion blog on Instagram or something. You can make money that way, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the clothes aren't going to fit you, and it might suck.
True.
But the reality is that they make things a certain way, and then everybody who does it has to fit into that size and shape because that's the size and shape they have. It's like if every shoe was a size 6, you got to be a size 6 to wear it. It's just it's the way it is. I mean, whatever.
And it's not always like being like thick, thin, and tall necessarily. Like for example, I went to a casting for like a fit modeling, and they wanted a size 4, and I was like a little bit too thin actually to do it. So yeah, I mean, fashion's not always about.
They were like, eat a meal.
Eat several meals. If they only knew how much I eat.
Did you find more success as a photographer in NYC compared to Miami, and why? That is a good question. Yes, but the why is kind of an interesting fact. I would say that Miami is more of a location than a market, meaning that there's not a lot of clients there. So people fly to Miami to shoot, but they don't base out of Miami. So it's hard to be in contact with them all the time. So you can travel to New York to meet. This is crazy. It has never been crazy like this. You brought this. You can travel to New York to like meet people and stuff, but they're still going to use the people that they can just walk to their studio. So for that reason, and then also I was younger when I was in Miami, and generally speaking, and this is not discouraging, hopefully people, you got to be a little bit older before you get the real jobs. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is not that you're better when you're older. You're just, actually, if you look at my video, I think from yesterday, you're just generally more dependable or at least more proven, right? Mm-hmm. So I used to get insulted because I would be this young, photographer, and go, I'm better than these people. Why are they getting these jobs? But then I realized that there's a lot of shit behind the scenes that they're doing that I would never have been able to do. Mm-hmm. When somebody says to you, okay, we have, a $650,000 budget to shoot this catalog over 4 days, book the models, book the makeup, book the studio, build sets. Like when you're like 22, 25 years old, you've never done that. You don't know how, But over time, you work a little bit in production, you meet people, you learn things, then you do. And the first one you do, you die basically because you're, oh my God. And then after that, it becomes a regular thing. You have connections, you call up the set builder, you call up whatever, and it's fine, it works.
And that is something I will say for you, having shot with, beginner photographers and, experienced people like Daniel, like when I go to shoot with a beginner, you have to block out like a whole day, because it takes them so long to do everything. And like in the end, they could still get a good photo, but it just takes a lot longer. Like with Daniel, like you walk in, like it's like boom, 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 like amazing lighting, shots, everything, and then it's so fast. That's the thing.
I'm not good, but I'm fast. So I got to in many things. So I'll just okay. So is it better to ask for forgiveness than permission? Is the location you really want to shoot guerrilla and get photos? I mean, it depends. You could shoot guerrilla in a location, but if you want to use the photos commercially, you may end up being in trouble. So, it's actually easier than you think. I think people get nervous about that. I mean, I'm in New York, so it's a little bit easier here. But honestly, people are pretty okay with you shooting places as long as you are upfront with them. You tell them exactly what you're going to bring. And even if you have to throw them a few bucks just to not have to shoot guerrilla, yeah. Although one time, I'll tell another story, another Miami story. I was working with my friend Brian. He actually had this gig to shoot, and back then he was called Puff Daddy, for a big party he was having. But now Puff Daddy was coming in on this like Escalade. Is that what they call the giant Cadillac trucks?
Maybe Escalade?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So he's coming down the street. Now we tried to get a permit. We're like, okay, when he comes out of the truck, we want to light it and make it look awesome. So he's coming out of this Escalade. We're going to shoot him. And they were like, no, you can't set up lights in Miami on the street. You cannot get a permit to do it. And then we're like, well, what if we just had a flash on the camera or whatever? And they're like, well, you can do that, but we're not going to give you a permit. You just do it. So 4 of us with battery-powered speed lights, this is back before they had all these awesome battery-powered lights, stood there and waited for Puff Daddy to arrive in his Escalade. And we got the shots. He shot with the Mamiya RZ. It was nuts. We actually went there 2 days before. This is film days. And we like literally made marks on the streets with chalk of where we needed to stand at the right f-stops. Because he got like 4 shots with the medium format film camera, and that was it. And he needed to know they were all going to be right. So, we just did it, But inside we shot them nice, within the champagne room or whatever. Not the champagne room, that's like a strip club, right? Whatever they call upstairs, the VIP room. I don't.
The champagne.
I think champagne room's something different. It wasn't a champagne room. It was like a VIP room. Yeah, it was very nice.
But I will say, if you're like just doing it for like your own purposes or like your Instagram, I don't know. I've gotten some. Maybe this is something I shouldn't be saying to the public, but like for example, I shot in this really awesome abandoned house that like we totally had to sneak into. Probably wasn't very safe, but we got some really cool photos.
Yeah, everybody's done that. And actually, there was a photographer, and I cannot remember her name, and I'm sorry, I never remember anybody's name, but if you Google it, you'll probably find it. She made kind of a mini career, I don't know if she still does it, because I haven't heard anything in a while, of doing fashion editorials of herself as the model. Hold on. In dressing rooms. She would go to super expensive shops, like Saks or whatever, and get like a crazy $10,000 dress, and say, I want to try this. And she'd put it on in the dressing room and photograph herself, and then she'd make editorials out of them. Like that was like, yeah, I mean, that's ballsy. So, they're going to do that.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah, that is epic. I was like, what?
Yeah, I've never been afraid to just like those people who buy the really expensive clothes and then return them. Like, I'm afraid. That's like, even to me, scary. Yeah,
what I tend to do there is I used to be more ruthless with buying and returning. Now I tend to keep a certain amount of it, or I give them to the models. I mean, actually, what I ended up doing near the end of my time as being like a regular model shooter is I found that I actually was better at styling than most stylists that do that kind of stuff. Because a good fashion stylist starts working right away. It's like the most wanted position. Like if you have connections and you can actually pull real stuff, not buy stuff from stores, you will get jobs, and you're not doing model tests, even for money. So what I found was I used to pay a stylist $150. So what I used to do was, well, I would just go to H&M or whatever, and I'd buy $150 worth of clothes that I knew were awesome. The model would use them, and then I'd say, keep them. What do I care? I would have spent that money anyways.
Yeah, I gotta say, H&M and Forever 21, not good for longevity, but for like a quick photo shoot, the bomb.
Well, and they're like always trendy.
Yeah, that's they're always trendy.
Yeah, they're the trendiest clothes. So like you go there and those clothes are super trendy. And if you don't know, pro tip, if you don't know how to dress the model, look at the mannequins. Just look at what the mannequins wearing and buy that stuff. You're done. Okay, let's see. Blah, blah, blah. I find teens are the hardest to make happy. Oh. Interesting. So that's interesting. So I think, you're shooting your daughter's friends. Okay, so number one, I think this is part of the problem, and I'll give you a little bit of advice that hopefully will help. Your daughter and their friends are probably not going, they're going to view anything you do as like more harsh than like another outside photographer. So you're going to be going uphill with that. If you're anytime you're shooting somebody like that, especially with children, they don't like, I don't want to use the word respect because that's not the right word, but they look at it differently because like you're shooting them, it's like the dad or whatever. If they go into like some photographer's studio, it becomes a whole different thing. Yeah. But that being said, and you probably see me do this if you've ever seen me do a video, if somebody has a big nose, I will say that. They'll go, my nose looks really big. And I'll say, yes, it does, because you have a big nose. And that's what's beautiful about you. And and you need to let people understand, again, law philosophy again, this is a life philosophy thing. People should be happy, at least on some level, with what they look like. Yeah, we always want to improve ourselves. I could definitely go to the gym, but the reality is that people are the way they look, and they're not going to look the way that a fashion model in a magazine looks. They're not going to, for many reasons. First of all, genetics, Secondly, lighting and styling and camera angles and all the other crap that's out there that is making them look better. And I'm not even saying retouching, because that's not even most of it. Most of it is really just the way that it's done, right? So you're doing all those things because you're a good photographer, I'm assuming, but they're not accepting it because you got that connection. So maybe if you have a friend that's a photographer, maybe having them do it or something like that might help. But I always call people out on their faults, because I find the faults are the most beautiful thing. Like my crazy eyebrows, come on now.
It's true. Yeah, have you seen like the unibrow model?
Yeah.
Like she's so famous because she just has like a big unibrow. Yeah. And it's so cool. Like it's so beautiful.
Yeah, because generally, and this is where that whole story comes in, where we think like usually not the beautiful woman later. It's like that whole goose or whatever. Because the things that make you interesting to people that are more mature are usually the oddball things. things. You know, the slightly turned nose, the weird dimple, whatever. That's what makes you cool. 2 different color eyes, stuff like that.
Oh, those are so cool.
But actually, one shot out of 30 is actually really good though. Teenagers are very self-conscious. That's true. I don't know. I mean, I've shot a lot of teenage girls, so again, I think part of it comes down to like you have to set their expectations. So that's what I would say there. Expectation setting is so important. Picture-in-picture showing the street view. it's pitch black. There's no street lights where I live, so it's like literally black. That's all you can see.
It was coming down though.
One second. There's still moments that push.
Oh.
What happened?
Do you prefer studio work or location shooting?
Oh.
I honestly love them both. I think it depends on the location and like who you're shooting with in the studio and what you have set up in the studio. Like I've made some really awesome shots in the studio before if they have like, cool sets or they're really good at lighting. But a cool location is also always really cool.
Yeah, production value is key if you can do it. I mean, going on location is fantastic. I shoot a lot in the studio because it's easier to make the videos to show you the techniques. So that's why we do it. Otherwise, I'd be outside. I mean, it's much easier in a sense if you know how to control light to make a beautiful photo outside because it's not just the subject. You've got all your environment.
And if you find a really cool location, it's like an epic set for free. Or however much you have to pay for the location.
And natural light is like. I mean, it might come off like I don't like natural light or whatever because I sometimes joke about natural photographers. But that comes down to the idea that like if you feel like people usually use that as like an excuse, like I can't do that because I'm a natural light photographer or I don't need lighting. Well, that's not true. It's like it's a factor of what you need and don't need. But if you can find beautiful natural light, man, use it. I mean, I love natural light. Are there still moments that push you out of your comfort zone? And how do you approach those? No, I think that's for you. Nothing pushes me out of my comfort zone. I have shot some freaky shit that I will not tell you.
I guess he has. It's true. But yeah, there are still things that push me out of my comfort zone. But I mean, unless it's like pushing me out of my comfort zone in like a boundaries crossing way, I usually go for it because it usually kind of gets the best photos. Like for example, sneaking into that abandoned house was. Like, at first I was kind of like, I don't know, man, like, we could get arrested, which I don't know if I would recommend, because you could get arrested. But, like, it was a little bit weird and, like, dangerous and stuff, but we got really awesome pictures. And I find, like, when you take risks in, like, photography or modeling, you get really good photos. Or even, like, we've done photos where I was, like, crying,
Yeah, those are good.
And, like, those are not typically beautiful photos, but, like, they're some of my favorite photos.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you want to push yourself. You want to kind of going back around to the whole kind of just what we're talking about is that's the reason why it's good to have a certain relationship with models because those are the ones you can do that with.
Absolutely.
First time shooting with somebody, doing something that's maybe a little bit weird, maybe that's not the best thing to do because it might creep them out. Once they know you're not a creep, they're going to be much more open to that. But no, I mean seriously. My thing is this, I've always been the type of person that I try not to be judgmental. So out of my comfort zone, I mean, I'm pretty open to whatever. I mean, I've shot, 65-year-old women artistic nudes because they wanted them, because they just wanted to have them. I mean, I don't have any problem with anything, and that might be weird for some people. I've shot, and people who were very sick for certain things. I've shot a lot of things. I try to focus on the work when I'm doing it. That's how I get past it. Sometimes it leaves sometimes you get a great friend out of it, or you get a good story, or it affects you some other way. So I think that it's always good to push yourself. Just don't doing that goes against the real you. If you have certain beliefs, then I wouldn't do something that was against my belief. Like I wouldn't do something that was like, I don't know, very racist or something, because I'm not that person. So in that case, if somebody came to me and said, oh, I want to, do a glorified thing that was, racist or whatever, I would say, nah, that's not the shoot for me.
Or even like, as a model, a lot of photographers will try and like push you to do nude stuff, which is totally okay. Like if that's what you're into. And if you're okay with that, but don't let somebody like use pushing your like comfort zone into like crossing a boundary, I would say.
That's
I mean,
true.
for models who are watching, because there's just a lot of people who will.
Yeah, I think that the best way to do those kind of shoots is to have the model ask you to do it.
And I also think if you plan on shooting nude, like in your photographer, you should be upfront about that. You know,
Oh yeah,
you shouldn't like get someone to your studio and then try and get them to do nude stuff, because I think that's kind of that's bad.
Even if you didn't intend to shoot nudes at first, and then you had an idea that was suddenly good, and it was you shouldn't approach it then. What I normally would do then is I would say, oh, you know, I had a good shoot. I'd wait till the end, and I'd say we had a good shoot. I have this other idea. Think about it. If you think you'd want to do it, you know, I'll send you these pictures. Sure. You know, when you get them, if we like each other, we'll work again. Whatever, maybe we'll try this. That's how I would do it. I usually don't approach it unless it's discussed ahead of time. I think if I don't know anybody that would have, but if somehow you listen to Seth's podcast, do you listen to the podcast? He's got a really good podcast called Crime Life. So if you guys run podcast, they interviewed me there, and I said I actually have turned down many people that want to shoot nudes, and the reason why is because I feel like there's so much pressure on me for that. Like, if you're gonna do that and reveal yourself to me, I better come out with a fucking great shot.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just a naked shot. And I may have said this in a different video, maybe not. In college, we had to shoot nudes, and I shot my first nude, and I was, you know, a young college dude, and I, you know, I shot this girl, and I put my picture up on the wall to get critiqued, and my incredibly feminist instructor looked at it, and she looked at the picture, she looked at me, and she said, "Nice tits," and then moved on. And in the moment, I was mad, but after looking at it, I could see that I didn't shoot an artistic nude. I literally just shot a naked girl. It through the eyes of a dude. And I was like, oh, you know, and that's literally what the picture said. The picture said to me, the picture said to her, "Nice tits." And listen, she was right. And since then, I've shot many. I mean, and I've shot some photos for that reason. But the reality is that if you're shooting a nude, you need to have a good reason to do it. And I'm not prude. I mean, by any means, I've shot many nudes. And I got a local professional taking senior pictures. They knew each other. Yeah, okay, there you go. Makes sense. You got some great shots. But they're just having a conversation on themselves.
That's a dangerous question.
What's that? If you could work with anyone you wanted.
Present company
accepted. Well, yeah.
Now we have to see each other, or
no. That's saying accepted. You mean accepted, meaning.
Oh, okay. So besides Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh, anybody I wanted. I really like Chris Knight's work. I actually discovered him. I really like his work. So Chris Knight, if you're out there, girl.
Yeah, you should reach out to Chris Knight. He's actually a really good photographer. So there you go, Chris Knight. If I could work with anybody, like as a model, I mean, I can work with anybody as a model. I could just reach out to them.
Oh, he's so famous.
No, I don't. No, honestly, there's nobody I can think of offhand, because if I wanted to work with somebody, I would just reach out to them. I don't usually. I mean, I'd like to shoot Tom Waits, which is completely on the totally side thing, just because Tom Waits is fucking amazing, and I would just like to meet him. But you know, that has nothing to do with modeling. Plus, I just think you'd be amazing. So, Tom Waits, if you're out there, I would totally shoot with you. You know, you're amazing. But you know, models, I don't really follow modeling, so I'm not really.
I think I follow.
I used to. I used to know like who was the people, mostly because I shot so many models that I liked it when occasionally somebody that I shot would like be in magazines and stuff. I'd be like, oh yeah, I shot them, you know. But now I'm not like that. Okay. How many free tests should you offer me to put on an invoice? That is a good question.
Wait.
How much do you want to shoot for the agency? The reality of shooting for modeling agencies is that they are not going to pay 99% of the people that they say they're going to pay, because they just use you until you walk away, because there's a million other photographers. So if you're in an industry, not an industry, a location where there's lots of other photographers and you need those models for your book, then you just keep shooting it until you can't, because you can use those to fuel other things. Like, for instance, if you're shooting for like IMG is pretty big now in New York. So let's say that I'm shooting for IMG and they're not paying me, I can take those IMG models, put them in my portfolio. Then I can go to Bob's Models down the street that's got like third tier models and be like, I shoot for IMG, pay me. And Bob's Models will pay me because I shoot for IMG. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what you can use it for. That's how it's leverage. Yeah. So it depends on the agency. Usually, I mean, I actually when I was actually doing it for money, like it was like my main source of income, I didn't do free shoots for agencies. When they came to me and said, oh, you got to do one free one, I'd be like, then let me take any girl off the wall I want. And that's what I did. And if they did that, then I do it, because fuck that. I'm not going to shoot some new face who has no pictures when I am established. You know, that's just how I did it. And I shot some really great models that way, actually.
And I think that's a good point in general, like as an artist, because obviously we all have to pay our dues. But if it comes to a point where you paid your dues and like you shooting someone for free is not helping you anymore, I think that's probably where it gets okay to start charging. Like if it's not benefiting you to do it for free.
Yeah. That's how it should be in life in general. You know, if something's not benefiting you, but you have to look at how it can benefit you. So everything is not just a straight line. Yeah. It'd be easy to say that, okay, 1, 2, 3 shoots and you move on. But, you know, again, it depends on the agency. And some agencies, like in New York, I can say now, it's been a while since I did this as my main thing. I'd say 5 years anyways. I can tell you from my experience, there was maybe one photographer per agency of the major agencies that they paid ever. So if you're going to like a major agency, they probably got their guy or girl shooting, and you're probably not going to take that gig. You might get lucky, but the reality is that having that relationship with them, though, might in the future get you that one gig. Whereas the smaller places pay a lot more people. You know, fashion agencies are on this. I might do a whole video on this, but I'll say very briefly. So fashion agencies are set up on the idea that they want to create a superstar, right? They have limited amounts of models that all look different, hoping that one of them will become huge. That's how they make their money. They want that one fucking super. I mean, they love it, the whole agency. Really, they want the one superstar. Commercial agencies, on the other hand, are the exact opposite. In a commercial agency, there's 5 girls that look exactly like Marisa. And every single casting, they send all 5 of them because they're just trying to get as much work as possible. It's a different kind of agency. So commercial agencies, they want more, you know, photos. They're going to pay you because they've got this thing. So, you know, that's just how that works. Yeah, with the B10s, yes, that was really fun. Even though Marisa got poison ivy.
I had terrible poison ivy. It got on my face. I had to cancel several gigs. I was itchy.
But you got dinner.
I did get dinner.
At
so
a
it was
very,
all
very
worth
nice
it. Was
diner. That was actually a really nice diner. Actually, Fernando picked it. Whenever Fernando picks the place to eat, it's fantastic.
Yeah, Fernando got the top.
Will the Big Time come with the air remote? I doubt that Pro Photo will do that. They'll probably have the retailers do it. I don't know that, though, but I would say, because the problem with that is they have to package it, you know, and then they end up with extra packaging. It's just like anything else. If you ever notice when you buy like headphones and stuff now, they've got like every language in them, because it's cheaper for the manufacturer to do it that way than to make specific ones. And that'll be the same thing with the air remote, I bet. Do you know you two work very well together? Probably one of the major level. Well, thanks, Mike. I think we work pretty well together. It's mostly me.
I mean,
I'm from Germany. Hey, Germany. Man, I didn't get to go to Germany. All the guys went to Germany. I was so jealous. When am I going to cut my hair again? I may do it soon.
Right now. Yeah, you should cut it to my length.
We should do it. I'm going to do my hair just like Marisa. Yeah, we'll do it. Any recommendations or a reference for material for posing techniques? If somebody has specifically knows this type of posing, well,
there was actually, I don't remember the name of it, but there's some like book that I think is supposed to be like the book for posing. And I remember like one of my first shoots, some photographer like gave me this book. I didn't actually read it.
No, listen, everybody learns differently. This is going to sound really like not like any advice at all, but I'm going to give you the best advice. I know it's crazy, but the best thing to do is to just look at people. When I'm photographing somebody for the first time, unless it's like for a video or I'm in front of people, I generally say to them, I'm going to spend the first few minutes just looking at you. And I take a single light and I move it around and I take a few photos and I look at them and I try to get a feeling for how their face reacts to the light. Now, I've done it a lot, so I have a general idea, right? But I do it with everybody. I always do it. It also gets them comfortable with the fact that like some angles are bad, and I'll even show them. I'll be like, see how when you turn this way, the shadow, whatever. This is a way to make people comfortable with their face. You could get a book, but again, every single face is different. So if the book says turn your nose, there is this whole like short lighting, long lighting, fat lighting, skinny. I don't know. But just look at people is my best advice for that. And I know it's hard, but
I think it was more for like body posing than like.
Well, it's specifically said nose.
Yeah. Okay.
If someone has a specific type of nose, I mean, same thing for the body. You know, I don't know. I get the posing books are interesting. It gives you a place to start. But I usually like to pose people the way they stand, as I said earlier.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, just look at magazines and stuff. Actually, the other thing you can do is when somebody wants to shoot with you, say, hey, send me some pictures you really like, and then look at those poses, because you know they like them. You know? And haircut, business cards. Still in or old fashioned. We already did a video about business cards. Watch that one. I say it's still in. New release. I did it with Seth, and it was really fun. No, I'm giving you a hard time, but I like business cards. I use them. They're a little different, but I think the consensus was a lot of people use them and a lot of people don't. So.
Which one?
Oh, okay. That's just a positive thing. Thanks, Chris. Can't decide who wears the page for it. Definitely me. Come on now.
What's a page for?
The haircut.
Me, for sure.
Okay, both. How different is it to shoot groups rather than individuals? So okay, I'll take this first because I think I understand it best, at least my part of it. I'm wondering if what you mean with Marisa is multiple people shooting her.
Oh.
Is that what you mean? Because
yeah.
Or do you mean posing with other models? So it could be either thing. So maybe you could, think about that. It's much different shooting a group. When you're shooting a group, you're generally just going for positioning. It's almost like working sculptures. It's a lot less personal generally. If I'm shooting bands, which is my most common way to shoot groups, I do everybody individually first, usually, so I get a connection with each one. So then they can all have their own flair and they're more comfortable when we do the group pose, because the group pose is, I can't be hand-holding each person. So that's how I handle groups like that. If it's like a group, like a class or something, just get them all to look at the camera. I mean, that's the best you can usually do.
Yeah. Shooting groups, like in terms of like meetups or like photographers, that's really interesting to me because I feel like a lot of photographers probably get the same shots. So I try and make it a really good shot. But when photographers send me photos after doing like a shoot with a group, like I notice that they're all sending me kind of like basically the same photo. So yeah, I think that's something like if you're shooting, like if you're going to a meetup, you're probably not going to get like that one original groundbreaking. And the other thing is it's a lot harder to be vulnerable in front of like a whole group. So like you're not going to get those like really interesting, like kind of moody shots, that you might get on a one-on-one setting. Yeah,
that's actually really interesting. And also I think that one thing that because we've done many, like, I'm going to fix this. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I feel like that was bothering me the whole time. So one thing that I noticed when we do, like we used our open shoots and stuff, even though we didn't let people shoot separately, is that you have to be somewhat cautious. This is why the vulnerability thing came up, because there are creepers. And like, you got to be careful with the models like that. There's not that one guy sneaking up the back trying to get up the dress shot. And believe me, it happens. And it's terrible. And so I think that if you're going to shoot, it might be a good way to meet other photographers. And what I would use a meetup for personally, if I was just starting, is a way to meet the models. You go to the meetup, you act like a gentleman or a gentlewoman, and you do the best job you can, and you have a nice conversation with them, and you give them your info, you exchange Instagrams or whatever. If you hit it off, then you do your own thing with them. I think that's what it's probably most useful for. So this is interesting. What are your thoughts on letting the models choose their photos compared to use the photographer for choosing them? What do you think?
Well, obviously, as a model, I used to always think that I would want to like choose the shots because I was like, oh well, I look best in that one. I look best in that one. But in retrospect, I feel like sometimes, like an outside party, AKA the photographer, ergo, I don't know why I said that. It sometimes could see what looks best to you from an objective point of view. Like, for example, if I'm really self-conscious about my nose, I might be like, oh, my nose looks really small in that photo, edit that photo. But then, like, the photo as a whole, is it really the best photo, you know?
Yeah, and there might be psychological baggage with that. I actually legitimately had a situation where I shot this actress for headshot, and the way that I shoot headshots is I shoot, well, at the time I was shooting with the Leica. Sometimes I use the Leica, as I said before, and you can't shoot tethered. So I shot a bunch of pictures, I put them in the computer, then I let them go through it. So it's kind of a tethered kind of thing. So it seemed like she didn't like a lot of the pictures where she was looking a certain way that I actually thought were the best ones. And then I asked her, I was like, you don't like that one? Like, that one seems really strong. And she says, no, I look like my grandmother in that one. And I said, is that a bad thing? And she's like, yeah, she was a bitch. And I said, okay, this is interesting. But just take my advice for a second. Let's just shoot some like that.
Mm-hmm.
So each setup, we shot some at that angle. And we didn't delete them. I don't really delete them. I put them in the folder. Anyways, and in the end, when she brought them to her agent, they actually picked one of the grandmother ones, which she wasn't happy with, but she immediately got a bunch of bookings from it because she looked better that way. She just didn't think she looked better, even though she did look better. So sometimes the photographer is right. But to answer the question, I used to be, I'll say, and I find this isn't a thing. No offense to people that do this. I find it's kind of like a lack of confidence thing if you don't want to let them all take pictures. To me, like, I'd rather just show them all the pictures and let them take the ones they want. Now, the thing is that I will tell them which ones I like, and I will use the ones that I like, and hopefully that leads them in a direction. I do delete all the blinks, the out of focus ones, the really terrible ones, something that I wouldn't want my name on, you know. But in general, I let them all take all the pictures, unless there's a reason not to. So because I personally shoot in such a way that I don't usually do any retouch/post, not a problem. Now, if you're a person that does a lot of heavy post, I could see this being an issue because it'd be way too much work to just do every picture. But for me, I put them around the camera. I mean, almost every picture you see from me is literally out of the camera, or maybe like a minute of retouching. I'm too lazy to retouch. So,
no, it's too good to retouch because it already looks really good. Yeah, no, but yeah, as a model, I usually defer to the photographer because I know that I have a lot of internalized like insecurities that they don't have. So yeah, that's just me.
How do you explain? Wow. I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign. That ambulance was going for a long time. Yeah, that's he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
So Instagram filters are not made for weddings, or are they? I mean, there are people, photographers, that get very upset if you put like an Instagram filter or you crop or do whatever to their picture. I'm not one of them. So once I give you the picture, if you paid for it, you know what? Go for it. If that's what you want to do. I mean, I hope that I have a good enough reputation that somebody knows that I didn't do that to your picture if they do some terrible thing. Now, if you're just starting and you're like nervous that it's going to give you a bad rep, you could always say to them, listen, if you posted with any kind of filter, please say there was a filter put on this. So that
I always, if I put I mean, I don't put filters on my photos anymore, but when I was first starting out, I would always, if I filtered it, say.
Oh, here we go. Here's the a posing book. Picture perfect posing.
I think that's the one that that photographer gave me.
Huh. I'll have to look.
I
honestly, I used to like that stuff. And I guess, again, I'm speaking from a different point now because I've been doing this for a while. When I first started, I bought all the books on lighting, all the books on stuff. And what I found is that generally everything that's out there that is specific usually is only good as like a general reference. Unless it's telling you why. Like anything that just has a bunch of poses and you look through is useless to me. If it tells me, listen, you pose a woman like this because, oh my God, hold on, can you talk? I have an awesome posing book.
Yes.
I'm getting it. I think I know where it is.
Okay, well, Danskin, I agree with that. I think, you know, if someone just tells you like, oh, turn your head left, but they don't tell you why, like you're not going to really remember that as much as you would if they say, you know, turn your head left because then you can see like your jawline and your nose is small and stuff like that. So yeah, I think understanding why certain poses look good versus just understanding what poses is important, especially because as Daniel said before, people have different faces. So, like, for example, making someone's nose smaller might not be important to somebody, or it might be important to somebody based on their face, you know, knowing why.
This is the best book ever. Okay, so this book, so this guy lived in Miami, I guess, and so when I lived down there, I had to buy it because, okay, this is how to photograph women. Now, this is, hold on. Now notice the 16A, right? So I can reference, no, 18A, sorry. Not 16A, where's 16A? 16A is pointed at her booties. So 16A. I must also say something about the boobs. It is very desirable to have the old sun across the boobs. The technique is used such that I easily put it in quotes. So as cheesy as this is, and also using the word boobs in the book, he's telling you why he does it. He puts the sun across the boobs. You know why, right? Why does he put the sun across the boobs?
Because, wait, I didn't hear what you said.
He puts the sun across the boobs. Well, it's actually here.
But why?
Why? Because it puts a shadow between the boobs, making them look bigger. Right? So this is why, like, even though this is cheesy as all hell, he actually explains to you why he does each thing. Like all these little things he points to. It's like amazing. This is like the best book ever. And oh no, by the way, there he is. This guy might still be around. You should buy this book. It's just funny just for the Dick Kesson. It's awesome just for the cheesiness. Apparently he shot like all the postcards in Miami and stuff, like when Miami was just coming up as a thing. I'm trying to look for the really awesome one. Look at this one.
Where did you get this?
I bought it. I literally bought it from him. I bought this from this dude. I mean, it was like mail order, but I bought it like literally from him because I found out that he lived in Miami. So this is the Suntan Shot. Elbow in close. Top foot in front of the bottom foot. Bend top knee forward and down. Arm along hip line. But, you know, that's what it says. But then it explains here why each thing.
Yeah, and I think the explanation is especially important because, like, for example, if someone already had, like, giant boobs, you know, you wouldn't necessarily need to make them look bigger.
Well, no, but you'd want to do that anyways because what else would it do to put a shadow between the boobs?
Cleavage shape?
Cleavage, which makes the definition of the boobs. If you had just had really big boobs and there's no shadow, you just look like you had a big fat chest. You want to show the shape of the boobs. The boobs are round, right? Yes, I know. I mean, as cheesy as it is.
You're an expert on boobs. You're a boob expert.
I am actually a boob expert. I mean, you know, listen, I like women. I'm not going to say I don't. Some of these shots, though, are just fucking ridiculous. Oh, my God. Hold on.
Some of them?
I mean, they're like amazing. We may have to recreate some of these. Should we read some of these?
Comment below if you want.
Yes, if you want Marisa to do one of these.
To recreate these.
Oh my God!
Fall 70s.
They're so awesome. I think
they look
like
my mom, honestly. Like a lot of them.
Oh my God! Can we get your mom to do it?
I mean,
Marisa's mom, will you do this?
Put in the comments below if you want my mom to recreate them.
That would be awesome. I know I've mentioned this before. That's why I've never.
He told me about this book. I'd never seen it live.
This is the best book ever. Letting models choose their photos, Instagram filters. Do you know of many photographers that use continuous lights to shoot? I know some. I mean, people use continuous lights. If you're inside and you can block out the regular light in the room, then it's totally fine. I mean, I actually am one of them, so you know, I use my data lights quite a bit. Usually for darker, moodier, kind of more. I use the word erotic because it always sounds so cheesy, but stuff that has more like sexual like tension. Cheesy. Yeah, like stuff that has that because it changes the way. Because remember that everything that you use changes how the person. See, this is what I was saying before about never tell somebody to smile or to look sexy. You need to create the moment. If you want somebody to be like a rock star, you don't say act like a rock star. You play fucking music and you say go at it, you know, whatever, just yell. Whatever. This is what you want because that creates that moment. You don't just go over there and be a rock star. So you don't just say go be sexy, right? And you're in this like open white studio with like a strobe hitting you. No, but hot lights pouring down on the person where it's dark and moody and this music playing, it can create a certain thing. So I definitely. And
it'll be a lot more genuine and it'll come through on camera, you know?
Yeah. Although I don't think I've ever shot you with the data lights. Maybe we'll have to. I don't think I've ever shot you at night. This may be the most late at night that I've ever seen you. Have you ever used Instagram filters instead of your own editing? Yeah, I put Instagram filters on stuff, not on my pictures though, but like on stuff that I took with my phone. Yeah, Yeah. Good question. See, I showed one of the models of shots to put the. Oh, one thing I do, by the way, to go back to that whole models picking their shots, if you're not shooting tethered, and they're picking them off the back of the camera, I usually don't like that.
Yeah,
because they never look the same once they're big.
There was one time I was shooting with this photographer, and like at the end of the day, there was this one shot that was so good. I was so excited for it. And then when you send them to me, that shot was like totally out of focus. But like I couldn't tell.
Yeah, but like when Miles tried to like write down the numbers from the back of the camera, no, if that's the situation, look at them on the computer, tethered, and then we look at them and make sure, and then I like, that's how I do that. And I always tell them too, if it's out of focus or something, I'll delete it. Because I don't give out of focus pictures, unless it's okay that's out of focus, which sometimes is. Any shoots this Saturday? I'm going to be at Comic-Con teaching, so no shoots on Saturday.
Oh, wait, I'll be there too.
I mean, not that you could assist with, but you'd have to get into Comic-Con. Okay. What's up, Daniel and Marissa? Just chilling. Awesome. Your mom's probably cute.
She's cute.
What's that show? I feel a little kind of creepy. See, that's the kind of comedy you want. Use Marissa's mom as your model. I told you what she because I love shooting older models. I think that you bring a lot to the set the older you are. It just is a different vibe.
Same and you live more life.
Yeah, you get more to pull from. Because modeling is basically like acting in a lot of ways. You know, it's not so much like catalog fashion. That's just about moving your body around. But like to like model in the sense that we're talking about, you're emoting. So like the more you've done, the more you.
And not only that, like how cool are wrinkles? Like I know everyone loves like a smooth face, whatever. But I personally think that wrinkles photographed like in an enhanced way are so cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think wrinkles can be really nice, especially on very old people that have a lot of wrinkles.
Yeah, because it's like a life, you know, in their face. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing is when you know somebody is a bit older and they have like crow's feet and like they're totally retouched out, and you're just like,
oh, that's just like, yeah.
Yes, recreate Marissa and her mom. I don't know if I call that boudoir. It's more like a swimsuit.
Yeah, it's like. Wholesome.
Yeah, boudoir kind of insinuates like being in a bed.
Erotic.
As boudoir means bedroom. Yeah, it's erotic.
Erotic.
Yes, we want Marissa and mom. Daniel shooting Marissa. Okay. Oh, Marissa directing her mom. That could get really goofy. I think Marissa's a bit of a goof. We'll see.
Me, I am the poster child for seriousness. Thank you.
I like shooting older people. Yeah, I like shooting everybody. The thing is that, so one thing with me is that even though, I mean, I guess I've changed a lot as I've kind of progressed, but like when I was younger, I wanted to be a fashion photographer, mostly for the girls, you know, and because I like didn't know shit because I went to an art school and somebody asked for the Life of Daniel video, so maybe I'll do that separately. And I moved to Miami and I had to work. So I just started working for like everybody I could. And what I learned there was there's a lot of really interesting shit. Like I worked for product photographers and architectural photographers and aerial photographers and food photographers and all kinds of advertising stuff. I mean, there is so many interesting things. I used to work for this one guy. We did all pharmaceutical jobs. Lots of old people. They're so cool. I was the assistant. We did the very first shoot for Viagra in the US. It was like released. It was in Miami on a boat. And I mean, that's got to be 20 years ago.
Wait.
And what's funny about it is we were like laughing about it. Because we were like, oh my God, it's pretty old. Because I was living in Miami, so it was like 97.
And they didn't do a shoot for it until the 90s?
No, that's when we shot it, like 97. I was a photo assistant.
That was the first one ever?
Yeah, it was they were like, this product, and they explained what Viagra does. I hope we all know what Viagra does. And we're all like, you know, we're like little kids, we're like, oh my God, really? That's what it does? You know. Yeah.
Why did it take them so long to shoot a thing for it, I wonder?
What do you mean? No, that's when it was created. It was brand new.
Oh, Viagra was new in the 90s?
Yeah. It didn't exist.
Oh.
It was like, what? So anyways, yeah, and it was a huge job. No, like, penis joke thing. Basically, we were all over. And the funniest part about it is some of the shots were like the simplest things ever. Like we did the older couple.
You do for Viagra?
Well, no, it was people enjoying life, generally couples.
Oh, okay.
So it was like older couple walking down the beach with a dog. You know, we did them on a boat. Everything's on a boat in Miami. You know, there was like sitting at like a beautiful restaurant, that's the thing, right? It's like when you're creating a campaign, I don't know what they use for Viagra now for a campaign. I think everybody knows what it is, so you don't need a campaign. It was like the idea was that, you're missing this part of your life, right? That part of your life. This will improve your life overall. It probably does. So, that's what you shot for the commercial. So that was basically the gist of it. But yeah, it was really cool. And it was huge money for this photographer. I was like, oh, I want to get into pharmaceutical, but I was like, with fashion. Pharmaceuticals with the money, man. Daniel, have you photographed your mom? Yeah, I photograph my mom once in a while. She's awesome. Not like as a model. I mean, she's just my mom, so I photograph her. She actually kind of officially. My parents were clowns. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, for hospice for many years. So they needed like a flyer. So I went over there and photographed them as clowns, which was kind of cool. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, they're pretty awesome. Yeah, they were.
That
clowns.
actually explains so much about you.
Well, they called me and said we're going to be clowns, and then I was like, oh, cool. And they were like, that's the reaction. I'm like, what did you expect me to do? I wasn't surprised.
You're a clown.
No, they were always doing charitable stuff, but my parents are amazing. So yeah, so they did hospice. If you don't know this, it's actually a really good. You know what hospice is, I'm hoping. Mm-hmm. They would go and be clowns for people. I mean, so they did that. Now they're a little older, so they gave it up because it was a lot of work. But yeah, they did it for many years. So I shot them like that, and then of course just in general. Let's see, where am I now? That's one for your mom. So we gotta get your mom involved. So that's fine. Is she down in
all right, Mom.
home still?
Yeah,
right. We can travel down there. I'm not gonna say where it is. We don't want them to.
She's very serious. She's a businesswoman, but she's also a goofball.
Yeah, I bet. I'd like to show you doing older models. I'm older, so I have an opportunity to shoot older subjects. I would help to see how you approach them.
That would actually be really cool.
You mean approach like getting the photograph with you? That's a little trickier because I don't think that I've ever just walked up to an older person. I mean, I usually do it for jobs, so I go to an agency or whatever. The thing is this, just like anything else, you've got to get them comfortable with how they look. The first thing an older person is going to say, especially a woman, is going to say, oh, I look terrible, I have wrinkles. You've got to be like, no, wrinkles are awesome, and that's fine. That shows, this, and we're going to make you look like you, but, as in the best light possible. I'm not going to remove all your wrinkles because that's you, and that's how I do it. I mean, I do tell people if they really want to do that they are free to go to a retoucher that can remove all that. But I am more or less morally against doing it because I don't think it's actually a funny story. First job ever. And I can actually relate to this more so now. I've just moved to New York. So I'm like, I have no connections because like when I moved to Miami, I'll do my life with Daniel. I moved up here with no connections because I'm fucking crazy. And I had no work. And I was like, okay, I got to do something. So I go on Craigslist. I don't know if Craigslist is still around. So back then, Craigslist was not the creepy place where you get prostitutes. It was like a place where people should. So I put a thing up, headshots in portraits, for people. And a guy reaches out to me and he says, I want a headshot for a dating site. Which dating sites I think were even kind of new then. I mean, this is like 2006-ish. I can't remember, 2003 maybe.
Yeah, they probably
2003, yeah. So he's like, yeah, I want to put it on, it wasn't Tinder or anything. It was like, whatever, date.com. So I'm like, okay, so I go meet this guy. He's very well off. He has a beautiful brownstone. So we go out to Central Park. I shoot some nice portraits of him. I send him to him, and he says to me, hey, do you think you could retouch my head? He was more bald than I am. And he's like, I want to add some hair. And I said to him, well, isn't this for a dating site? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, but aren't they going to know when they see you that you don't have hair? I mean, and he goes, no, that's fine though. By then we'll talk to him. And I said, listen, guy, I could put hair on your head. I mean, I'm shitty at Photoshop, but I could do that. But I kind of don't think you should do it. So I'm going to tell you this. If you want to do it, feel free. You have my permission to use the pictures to do that. Go ahead and have a retouch, put hair on your head. But I will not do that. I'm sorry. I will not take your money for that. Mm-hmm. And the guy sends me the pictures like a week later. Somebody retouched them. It was like those things they put on like Twitter now, where it's like the worst retouching ever. And he's like, "Oh, I got him done," and he's showing it. He's all happy. I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this." So yeah, Yeah, so that's that.
Oh,
That's
no.
my very first job I did in New York City. It's very glamorous here. Oh my god, photograph retouching hair on. So if somebody wants to retouch some hair on my head,
yeah, somebody do terrible retouch on Daniel's head.
give me like a.
That's so funny that he's like, I can just like, I'll finesse. Like by that time, they'll already like me.
Yeah, it was just funny. That's exactly what he said, and I'm thinking to myself, that seems like not the greatest way to start a relationship with somebody. I mean, I don't know. Oh, cool. I shoot nothing but old farmers in the Australian outback. Wrinkles are vogue in the back.
I want to see those. Those are cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Have you got a site, Tony, that you can link us to? We'll check them out. And said, I like my wrinkles. I have worked hard. Exactly.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to the puppet, Daniel? I don't know what you mean by puppet. That bastard. All right.
Wait, what did happen?
Yeah, it's it exists. Yeah, there will be a return of my other self. He has a whole bunch of new shirts. Actually, interestingly enough, t-shirts. I just need Fernando to help. Whatever happened? Hi. What about you? About lighting, posing for nude? I actually did a lighting / posing for nude tutorial video. You've got to do a little research, but it is on the YouTube. It's under, actually, I think if you go to my site and you click on the first page, it's one of the link pages called Pro Guys. We tried to start, and we did a video on it, classy nude photography. It came out okay, I guess. I mean, I got good pictures. It was a little bit, because I wanted to try something different, because I had seen, actually, it was a reaction to me seeing terrible videos about shooting nudes on YouTube, and I'm like, all right, I gotta.
No, you're actually a very good nude photographer.
Oh, thank you.
I actually really like your work.
Yeah, I mean, because you know why? Because I've modeled nude.
You have?
Oh yeah, we had to in college. I know.
I feel like that would help because then you'd know what it's like on the
had
inside.
to do it.
Yeah.
We had to photograph and be photographed. So everybody just photographed each other. So it was kind of interesting because in the whole college class they'd seen each other naked.
That's a very intimate.
Yeah, it was really cool actually.
thing.
Except that I got the nice tits. But anyways, that's.
Wait, you have nice tits?
My tits were beautiful.
Like looks
They're
at
not so- I'm
Daniel's
getting
nude,
older.
like nice tits. Like, she walks away.
No, my tits were much smaller than they are now. Any Halloween shoots? No, not so much. I don't do that kind of stuff.
Oh, I did a really cool one actually the other day. It was like they were very dedicated. They got all these old period. It's a old pinup Halloween,
Oh,
but like
cool.
they did everything is period accurate. It's so cool. Even the lighting, they figured out like how they lit it in like 50s advertisements.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's cool.
Okay, I'm
Stay
curious.
tuned.
Yeah, we'll see that. Yeah, I don't. Every year, or maybe once every several years, I'll buy like props for like a holiday, thinking I'll do something, and then 3 years later, it'll be in my basement, and I'll be like, oh, I gotta throw this crap away because it's all moldy. I never do anything like that. Although I did see, I was at Target, getting some soap, and I walked past. There was these 3 young ladies, and they were wearing these witch hats, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool.
Daniel.
And I was looking, and I'm looking
idea.
around to where they are to see where the witch hats are, and I couldn't see anymore. I think they bought the last 3, and I was like, what?
We should do a witch shoot. That'd be so cool.
But
All
are
right.
you a good witch or a bad witch? It'd be fun to do like a more of a green skin, full on.
We could totally do that.
Yeah, we should do it.
We could totally do
We'll
that.
do a witch. I mean, I'm not very thematic. I just kind of live my life. I mean, I could be, I suppose. What about okay? So look for that video. I mean, if I can't find the link because obviously I have this cluster going on.
Yeah, he would be a good person to learn from.
It's
I
a
think,
pretty good video. We use Erica, who's a professional nude model. She does a really good job.
and I think your photos are definitely like they're very well done. Like it's a fine line between like nude and porn, and I think Daniel does a good job of making it like an artistic nude. Nah.
I do all right, I guess. Long exposure photography. Not really. I did a video on it. It didn't come out that good, honestly, but we needed to do it because we were under pressure for a video, so we released it. It wasn't my favorite video I've ever done. We actually were camping in Vegas, and we didn't realize, of course, until we were there, which kind of sucks, that the sky was going to suck that night. No, we had like, oh my god, it was so cold. It was the craziest thing. Not that I'm making an excuse, but we got a shot, but it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be, so it didn't come out as like bold. So it's not my specialty, but I mean, I know how to do it. I mean, you kind of know how to do everything once you have the basics down. There's only like 3 things you need to know in photography. Thanks for the info. Let's decide, miss, I guess, can you work? They need to find it difficult shooting wearing glasses. I have worn glasses since 1st grade. So I would not know what it was like to shoot without them. So I don't think I feel difficult. I mean, sometimes you have that issue where you don't feel like you see the whole frame, but it's less an issue in cameras that have good viewfinders. Like if you're using like I use the Canon thing that I have, the 1DX. The Witch from Wicked. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I've read the book. Is it like the book? Have you read the book?
I read like some of the book. It's kind of like the book, but it's less detailed.
Yeah, obviously it's shorter.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It was good. It's a classic.
There's like witch sex.
Whoa, I didn't read that.
Oh, there's witch sex in the book for sure. Yeah. It's
been a while.
Yeah, it's
been a while since I've read. I didn't finish it though, so I only read part of it.
It's near the beginning.
Wait, I read the beginning.
All right, read it again.
Witch sex? Which witches?
The Green Witch has sex.
Wait, with the Tin Man guy? Okay, anyway,
I can't remember, but anyways, yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see. Find difficult shooting wearing glasses. Nope. Photograph equipment prop that has stuck with you from the beginning of your career. Do I have anything that I still started with? I legitimately have a bag, a donkey bag that I bought in '95 that I still use. Equipment-wise, I think most things have. I mean, I have some old stuff, but I don't use it anymore. It's like my first lighting kit I sold. Actually, no, I have a Sunpack flash, and this. In fact, maybe I'll do a video with it. This is an auto thyristor Sunpack flash. It probably still works. I think I pulled it out like 2 years ago. It was my father's flash that he used for like family photos and stuff. And when I needed a flash in college, he gave it to me. So it was from like, I'm going to say it's somewhere in the 80s vintage. And yeah, I've used it within the last couple of years. It's pretty nice. It's auto versus TTL, which, that's a whole other video. You've seen it 27 times. Wicked? Oh, I have not. What are 3 things? Oh, to know in photography. I can't give all 3 in one video. You won't watch anymore. Is location scouting a thing? See, I feel like location scouting, here's my thought on that for a video idea. I think it's a good idea, but it's so specific to the actual job that it wouldn't be something that, I mean, I could talk about it more so than do it in a video. I feel like that's the case with some things like that, because it's like, I mean, it just depends. Like, if I need to scout for penthouses in New York City, I go to a website, and if I need to look for locations for a farm location, I'm gonna literally go on the map and like drive to ask people. So it depends. I mean, I did a bit of location scouting when I lived in Miami, and it was a mixture of things. It was connections I had, and it was me literally driving around just asking people. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I could figure out a way to try to do a video about it in general. It seems to be the thing that a lot of photo assistants do, kind of between assisting and then photography. Or some people do it full time, I guess, too. But The Witch from Wicked, retro looks.
Oh, you should do that.
Have you ever thought about hosting your own photo contest on your channel? I could maybe do that if I get a prize. You got to give you something if you're gonna have. We did. I mean, I've been the judge on a few that we've done for Adorama, for Canon, and I think for Leica once, and I think for another lighting company. Maybe it was West, I can't remember. And of course, we do the critique. So the 3 things: where to stand, how to interact with your subject, and how to get proper exposure. If you can do those 3 things, you're done. So if you stuck around for that, you got it. What about shooting someone in glasses? I do it all the time. Every single time I get asked for this, but I do it a million times. And again, it's one of those things where I can just tell you, I'm being lit right now. Let's see if I can do it. Look. Look.
Oh, Gavin Hoey.
Oh. Right? So how did I do it? I put the light where it won't reflect off the glasses because the glasses are a mirror. I mean, that's it. It's just, I do it all the time. But yeah, it limits you, of course. Obviously, if you have glasses, you have to limit. But I'm also one that, depending on what I'm doing, I don't necessarily care if there's a reflection. It kind of depends on what you're doing. Photo contest, love a video, and the model selection. Again, very specific. But I think model selection is one of those things that's super important. I mean, I think it's key. In fact, it's probably one of the most important things, depending on what the thing you're doing is. It's like picking a lead for your movie. It's like you could have a great script or whatever, but if you don't have the right lead, it's not going to, So how? It depends, And this is why I think somebody made a comment on one of the videos where they said that they hate art directors when they don't know what they want. This is where like pre-production meetings and stuff come in. Like you need to know what you're trying to produce so that you can pick the right model. If you don't know, if they're just like bring a pretty girl, you're probably not going to get fantastic results. You want to know this shoot has this mood and it's like this, and you really want to do that. And you can literally, it's the weirdest thing, like that our life is this. Like when I was doing catalog special, like I would literally call these people, these modeling agencies, and be like, send me every girl you have between this age with this color hair, with blah, blah, and they would do it. Like droves of people would show up.
It's true.
It's like it's there. That's how you do it. It's weird, but it's our life. My mate played one of the monkeys. You mean the band, the Monkeys?
No, in Wicked.
Oh, I was gonna say that's pretty awesome. Okay, well, that's still cool, but the band, the Monkeys, would be cooler. Let's see. Have you ever thought about hosting a photo contest? I did that.
Oh, any plans on YouTube coming to the UK for a shoot?
Maybe. Yeah, I plan on traveling a lot in 2019, so I might take notice of it. We'll see. Yes. How do you find your models? Generally, models, this is going to sound super cocky. Generally, they come to me. I mean, people reach out to me all the time to pose. I am also very, because of the work I do, I'm very open for this kind of stuff. So if you come to me and you're, heavy set, dude, I might still be able to use you. So like, to me, like I'm open to just about anybody. So a lot of people come to me and I can find people that way. If it's for a job, I go to modeling agencies always. And the reason why is this. I mentioned before that how modeling agencies work. And even a fashion agency that wants to make their girl a star, if on the way to the shoot, and this is going to sound terrible, I've got my shoot set up. This is a $500,000 shoot. We've rented locations. We have props built. The whole thing's there. On the way to the shoot, the model gets hit by a bus. If they're with an agency, 10 minutes later, a different girl will show up. And that sucks and seems mean, but there's a huge fucking job on the line. If I found that girl on Instagram, I got nothing.
You're screwed.
And that's the reason why you go to an agency, because they will always get you a replacement. It may not be the exact person, going back to the casting, but you'll get somebody and you will be able to complete your job. And that's why for jobs, even if I know a girl, the way I shoot sometimes do tests and they're with an agency, if it's a job, I book them to the agency, even if it costs me more, because it gives me that safety. So jobs, I always go through agencies. That's just how I do it. For videos, people come to me a lot, or if I just see somebody. I mean, I don't think you were that time, but we were actually in Union Square shooting on an open shoot one time. And then these two women came up and started asking us what we were doing. And I was like, I gave them a card. And next thing you know, I was shooting them a video. It's like, it happens,
Yeah.
Are you guys a couple? No. She's way too expensive for me.
Dude, no, you're gonna give them the wrong idea. No, Daniel is like my photo dad, even though he won't admit it.
I don't know if that's good. You're killing my cool rep. No, we're not. I don't know. I feel like that I don't think I've ever like shot. I mean, like heavily shot with a model that I've had any kind of relationship outside of modeling, because I think it's a different relationship actually. I think it's a little weird. It's not weird, but it's different. It depends on what you're doing. Like you can shoot your girlfriend, but it's not the same as shooting a model. That's a model. I mean, it's like a whole different way of working. So yeah, I'm gonna make you a star.
Oh, you gave them the wrong idea, Daniel. Too expensive for me. A goy? What's a goy?
Handle? I don't know what that means. No, we have a working relationship. I think it's important too that if you're in this kind of industry, that there's a lot of women and men and whatever. Oh, you're going to interact with a lot of people, and also it's very loose. So things seem very friendly and stuff, but we're just regular people, just like anybody else. I mean, it's like
we're friends.
Just like when you're friends with somebody at work, you're not dating them. So,
and I honestly think, like, I don't know. I feel like if I had a relationship with a photographer, it would be weird. Like you were saying, you would get the best photos, or like, I don't know.
Well, you get different kind of photos. I mean, I've definitely photographed people that I've been intimate with, and those photos are very different. And they're probably not something I do videos about and put them online. I mean, they're much more, my personal encounter with that person, and incredibly personal to us. So I think it would be a little weird. I don't know though.
Well, the other thing is, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I've never been in this situation, like, as a photographer, but I don't know how you would, like, approach somebody. Like, if you had, like, a working relationship as, like, a model and photographer, like, if you're gonna, like, try and date that person, like, that could go horribly wrong for you. That could be so awkward.
Well, yeah, you might lose the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it'd be awkward to shoot with that person
from that point. So you have to. I mean, it sounds really cold to say it, but in any situation like this, you have to think about how valuable they are as a model before you do that, because it could go south really easily. So sure, I mean, it happens. I mean, just like any workplace, people do get together or whatever, but you could really have a bad situation. So I tend to stay away from that in general. But as a female photographer, I dated my own models. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so that's also common for female photographers. Or you're saying your models are men. I'm not quite sure, but
I think it's I feel like any situation, and maybe this is just because there's like a lot of like heteronormative thoughts everywhere, but like I feel like every time there's like a male and female relationship of any kind, people are like,
it's called shipping.
Shipping, yes.
They're shipping us.
But like of any kind, like, which I think is kind of strange.
Yeah, it's natural.
I guess, yeah.
I always like to have hot chicks with me, so like I'm totally down for whatever. That I'm totally up for that.
Classes on the road, like Mark Wallace.
I know. Mark Wallace is my idol. If I could be Mark Wallace, it would be my life happy.
You could be Mark Wallace. No, you could be Daniel Norton.
I don't know. Mark Wallace is way cooler than I am.
Ah, come on. Pretty cool.
What other types of photography do you enjoy? Do you think they overlap in technique? For example, maybe wildlife or headshots? I mean, I think all photography overlaps. It's basically the same thing. That's why, I mean, I joke about it. I mean, obviously, there's more truth than that. But yeah, I mean, I think that they interact. And a headshot of an actor is much like a portrait of a regular person. It's just a different set of criteria. So it's certainly technique, lighting, getting people to feel comfortable, that kind of stuff. You got to approach it slightly different. Wildlife, I'm not sure that would be similar. And it's not something I really do. I'm way too lazy to carry a camera around with me, so I don't usually shoot unless I'm in the studio, which is weird, I guess, but just that's how I am. But no, I mostly shoot people, is what I like to say now. People would say that I was a fashion photographer because I shot fashion, but primarily as my income. But I like to always think of myself as a people or a portrait photographer. I shoot people, whether it's with models or whatever. Yeah. Classes on the road. Yes, I have thought about that. 2019. We'll see. Working on it. Would you say that
views
are overrepresented in media? Okay. Okay. Looks like we have a weirdo. You could be on your way if you'd like, please.
Wait, which one was it?
It's this person here. NY bad guy.
NY.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not feed the trolls. I'm going to see if I can drop him. Stand by. Always gotta happen.
What is an
Put a J there. Boom. All right. Okay. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't usually get those on my channel. Sorry, we're getting one on Adorama, though.
Hey, that just means that you're, getting big now. Got trolls.
Yeah, I don't need that kind of shit here. So if you got that kind of crap going on, just keep it to yourself. Anyways. We need mods in the future. Oh, so we can boot them? Yeah, maybe I do. I've never done it this way before, so yes, we may do that. Thank you. I didn't notice that right away. Holy crap, there was a whole bunch of messages. Sorry about that, guys.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, in the future, if there's like an asshole there, let me know, because sometimes I can't read all the messages quickly. But yeah, we may need to get some mods going. So if somebody wants to volunteer, send me a DM. Because yeah, I don't need that shit. How do you find inspiration? It's not already. Okay, good. I mean, I did a little video about this, very specifically about getting inspiration from music, but I'll say the other ways that I get inspiration is I just observe a lot of things. And I think that also helps with posing and stuff and all the other stuff. Oh god, my battery's dying too. The idea is that I try to live my life and try to remember what I see and take mental pictures so that when I go to make photo pictures, I can use that. And that's kind of where I get inspired from. How about you? How do you get inspired?
I think, well, I definitely, so as an actor, I always people watch. I've gotten some inspiration. I mean, this is New York. You see awesome stuff all the time. Sometimes I'll go to Goodwill and I'll find like a weird clothing item.
Oh, interesting. So you see a piece of clothing and you're like, oh.
But I think most of it is well, I mean, with Daniel, thankfully he lets me have a lot of creative reign. So I get a lot of inspiration based on that day on set. Sometimes something will just pop into my head, and Daniel's talented enough to kind of make it happen. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a collaboration. I mean, I think that's super important. This battery is gonna die though. See if there's anything else you can answer while it will be.
All right.
No, sorry.
You guys have the same hair. Love you guys. We love you too. Okay. Once again, all alone. So if you guys have any questions for me, Daniel's left me alone. What's better? Looking at classical paintings to try and understand light, or grabbing a flash? Oh. Well, I don't know. But I do actually really appreciate photographers who can make a picture look like a painting. I don't know. I always thought it was really cool. Like I said earlier that I would like to shoot with Chris Knight. I think all of his photos look like just amazing paintings. I think that's partially the costumes and the design and the makeup and hair and everything. But it's also the way he lights it is so Are
you flirting with Chris Knight on my screen?
Oh my god. No, he's engaged. So Lindsay Adler, who's also I would love to shoot with her. They're both awesome. So yeah. How long have you been acting? I actually went to a performing arts high school. So but I started acting in 4th grade because I was the loudest kid. So they cast me as the villain who yelled at everybody. Yeah. So I guess since 4th grade, professionally 3 years. I kind of just moved straight from high school to New York. And same as Daniel, I didn't have any connections when I moved to New York. I was just I'm gonna go. And so yeah, I did. So I guess professionally for 3 years.
That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah. Marisa, do you prefer shooting in studio or outside? Oh, I think we answered this question earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I love both. I think you can do some really cool stuff in studio, but then an awesome location is always
for sure.
Bomb.
All right, cool. I don't know. I mean, we're having fun, but I think we should probably wrap soon.
Yeah.
Any final questions or thoughts?
They said something about Seth again.
Oh boy.
Nice to see Seth getting. Dan the Jedi.
I was doing my that was my Luke Cage hoodie.
My favorite thing anyone's ever commented, it was something about on like you and Seth thing. It was like Seth, Batman, Miranda, and Daniel Nightwing Norton.
Yeah, I don't know why I got that, but okay. I mean, I'm not. This is gonna get me some hate, but I'm not a big Batman fan anyway. So, but isn't Nightwing like a bad Robin?
Nightwing.
I don't.
I know you're Robin, huh?
I'm Robin. That's basically what it ended. Although I am younger than him.
Nightwing.
As much as he likes to play it off, I am younger than him.
You are?
Yep.
You're younger than Seth?
Yep.
Oh, wow. He always calls you old. Then.
I know. That's what I'm saying, because he feels bad about him being so old.
Really?
He's an old man.
Ooh, I bet Seth doesn't want that to get out.
No, he's not. I don't know.
Is Marissa just... I am an actor.
Oh.
Actually, I think I would consider myself an actor first.
Yeah, I think so too.
More than model. But I do love modeling too. I love both. Daniel, you're a cool guy. Like your style.
Thank you. Let's see.
Oh. That's interesting.
What's that?
How do you approach networking?
Oh, networking. I am terrible at networking. But I can give you some advice. Do as I say, not as I do. There's definitely a lot of groups. I mean, it depends on where you are, obviously. And you have to think about what your goals are as a photographer, but I'll just speak for me because I'm in New York. There's get-togethers and groups of photographers. And not the ones that, I mean, not to bash on this, because I feel like I'm bashing whenever I say this, but not like the ones where a bunch of dudes get together and shoot a girl. The ones where photographers get together and talk and learn from each other. Those are going to give you connections. Because here's the thing. So when I first started, I was a photo assistant and I met tons of photo assistants. And then from there, we met other people and like it spread out. So people in the community will help each other to spread. Because if you meet other photographers, let's say that I'm at go to a beer and wings thing that they have here. And I meet a photographer, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm doing such and such," and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to be in town. I'll come along and help or whatever." I mean, I don't really do this now, but if you're young, starting or whatever, now you're on this thing. Now you're meeting people. Now I'm not saying you should go and try to steal their client, obviously, but you might meet the makeup artist, and you might meet the stylist. You might, and at least you've made contact with them, and now you're networking, right? You're not necessarily like, "Take my card," but you've met them, and you kind of, when you do reach out to them later or whatever happens, you will have met them that way. So I think hanging out with other photographers is a good way to do it. And I suppose you can also do it, just by sharing Twitter and Instagram and those kind of things. Talking to people that way, I think, is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Is Marissa currently performing at some NY stage?
I'm not, but I am about to start working on a film that I'm very excited about. But I signed an NDA, so no information for you.
You just said something.
No information for you.
Oh, that's cool. So we will see Marissa on film. Oh, thanks for the contact. Keep it real. Trip hiccups. Spoonful of sugar. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I have terrible allergies. The humidity always brings it out, and it's crazy humid right now. Are you cold?
I'm freezing.
Why don't you go get a jacket? Do you want me to get it for you?
Oh yeah, because you left me. Okay, now you entertain them by yourself.
She's gone. I didn't know. I just thought you had a warmer, because you're from the South. Marissa's from the South, if you guys didn't know that. All right. So is Marissa currently performing? Daniel, coffee. Marissa. She drinks coffee, but very, very light. How do you go asking the model to pay me when she assumes it's a trade shoot? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So when anybody approaches you to do a photo shoot, I mean, I think you got to be within the first couple of, you need to make it clear that you're charging them. Like, I mean, this is the biggest problem is if you wait too long, right? So like if a model approaches me and says, "Hey, I would love to shoot with you," and then I look at their work and I'm like, "Well, I'll shoot them, but I don't really want to pay them." Then I will literally reply back and be like, I think you have a look. I think we do this, this, and this. I charge a lot.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. You might seem blunt, but if you go back and forth 5 times, yeah, let's shoot. And then all of a sudden it gets a little bit murky. Then it becomes this awkward, like, hold on, did we already agree to something and we haven't? Just put it out right up front. It's like, this is what it is.
I would say, yeah, and it goes to modeling too. Like when someone reaches out to you to shoot, like just say, yeah, I'd love to shoot with you. My rates are da 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 da.
Yeah, and if numbers seem too much for you to put out up front, if that's too blunt, you could at the very least say, I'm currently not doing any test shooting. So depending on what you need, we can talk about a budget, you know, or something like that. You can be more vague if you don't want to just throw a number at them, because that can be a little bit blunt. It depends on who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think, and if you're upfront, people respect that, especially if you have a good portfolio. Like, no one's going to get upset at you for asking to get paid what you're worth. Probably, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, I feel like there is sometimes that, like, harsh thing where, like, somebody will say, hey, I'd like to shoot with you to me. And then I think they look decent, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I would use them for a project or something. And I say, well, you know, I might have this project or whatever, might do a video or whatever. And then they suddenly throw me a rate. Then I'm going to be like, oh, hold on.
Okay, yeah, I would. No one's ever done that to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not cool. But like, if somebody reaches out with the intent to do a test and you just got interested, just tell them. I mean, there's no sense in that.
As a model too, if sometimes people reach out to me that I don't want to shoot with, and what I'll just do is quote them a rate that's really high. That's like if you don't want to shoot with someone,
just don't do it if you really don't want to shoot with them, because some of those people will have money and then they'll say, okay, and now you're in a worse position. That's
actually a good point.
Yeah.
Well,
if it's like, really, I don't think their portfolio is that good, but they're not like a complete creep, I just don't want to. Yeah. Then hey, okay, like you know, charge them more. But if it's like, yeah, this guy seems shady, you know, his portfolio is all, you know, people hung upside down, naked, set on fire. Not my thing. I mean, if you're into that, it's fun. But
hung upside down.
Well, of course, burns better that way. Okay. Have you worked with Creative Life? I have not. I have not worked with Creative Live. I think that, I don't want to spread rumors, but I was told that Creative Live was reducing their staff, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I would love to work with Creative Live, because I think it's a good resource. Join local Facebook, professional photographer model, Nashville, the network. Yeah, it works. Do I have a go-to lens for portraits? It depends, I suppose. So maybe the real answer is no. I mean, I like, if I have to fall back on something and I don't know, I usually shoot with the 50, you know, on a full frame camera or thereabouts. You know, and shoot something that's, you know, mid-length or whatever. If I want to go tighter, then I'll use like an 85. I sometimes use longer lenses. I'm not a big long lens person. I used to be, but I don't anymore. I prefer the lack of compression with a shorter lens standing closer. So I'm not really big on long lenses. But if you're looking for a certain look, like if people expect X look from you with a portrait, then yeah, you should land the right lens for that. Some kind of long zoom is usually good. Cool. All right. I think we can try to end it there. This has been terribly long, but fun.
Very fun.
Yes. So I think it's still raining, so I don't think we're gonna get to shoot. We were gonna do a shoot after this. I was gonna. I brought no equipment home, so I literally just have a camera, and I was gonna do because I get asked all the time, like, what do you do if you only have a camera? So, but now it is torrential rain and pitch black. So yeah, unless we're gonna shoot on this porch, which we're not, we won't do it. So we'll do another video another time.
I know. We shoot all the time. So
yeah, but this was fun though, guys. Thanks. Leave comments. Subscribe if you don't. Marisa is Marisa.Roper on Instagram. Or I guess if you just Google Marisa Roper, you probably can. Are you Marisa
I have a knowledge graph now. Dude, if you guys Google me, I'll show you. I don't know.
What's a knowledge graph? Do I have a knowledge graph? Probably not.
You probably do. Look, Marisa Roper. I don't know if this should be on the live stream.
I know. Oh, this. So cool. Oh, no, I don't think I have that. Oh, that's slick. Wow, she is famous.
No.
That's a nice picture too. I really like that black and white picture.
Yeah?
Yeah. See, I like a picture that I didn't take. It happens. Okay. Whatever, I probably already said subscribe and stuff. Thanks, guys. You can continue to comment and stuff once it goes the video. If you have any other questions, Eric is seeing it late. I feel like this is really long. I'm sorry it was some breaks in the middle, but we literally are streaming. If you could only see, we're literally on my laptop, was sitting here, with this light, and it's actually really ridiculous. And actually, there's like, oh, now there's only one. There's a phone company guy like right out on the porch, so they're trying to get the internet back up, I guess. So we'll see you next time, guys.
Love you.